Figure it out.
Kind of.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleeds podcast. I'm Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. How are you today, sir?
Feel fantastic. How about you?
Buddy, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
Mm. Um, yeah. Sometimes I feel like after I eat a bowl of ice cream, I feel like I'm gonna have twins.
Oh, yeah, that's no doubt there.
And then
I gotta tell
yeah.
you, I've been trying to lose some lbs. Hasn't worked, but I think I can say I'm trying. I should say I think about trying. And then
That's the first step, really.
I get out of town and I like do good. I'll be like I was 206 or 205 something on Monday. Got myself down to like 203 before I went out of town yesterday. Go out of town, pizza for lunch, pizza for dinner,
Mhm.
pizza for lunch today.
Mhm. Jeez,
I got a
that's
meeting.
your
Yeah, I got that's my go-to, man. I love pizza, and there's a lot of good pizza places. And I grab a medium pizza, and I'm like, I know it's probably too much, but if I get a small, it's not gonna be enough. And then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, there's like three pieces left. All right,
yeah.
and then I go in, have another, and then next thing I know, the medium pizza's gone. At least it's a medium pizza. I used to get a large every time. Now I'm down to a medium. So,
Good for you.
see, I'm dwindling this thing down.
Good for you.
Hmm.
I feel like this is those from those state tests, like the analogy section,
Yeah.
where it's like Skyline is to Adam as pizza is to A, Stanley, B, Jeremy, C, Chris, D, Patricia, E, all of
All
the
of the above.
above,
Yeah.
and the answer's C.
Answer's definitely C.
C for Chris.
Hmm.
Chris, uh, you know what? This is gonna be a I think this is going to be a fly by the seat of our pants kind of thing.
Pretty much because we didn't talk about too much.
We didn't talk about too much. I went on a trip this past weekend. That was pretty
Did
cool.
I want to
Um,
know all for, okay, continue. I'm sorry. I'm jumping
no,
over top of you.
no.
And what else? What else?
I was just thinking. We got this is the last week of the regular season in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We have what else? Everybody's pretty much done with grade school and high school basketball. If you care about that, the NBA's got a while to go, but you know,
NBA's got a while. There's a playoffs start at the end of April and it ends at the end of June. Like the NBA playoffs are ridiculous.
yeah, you don't need seven
Ridiculous.
games in the first round.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But
Uh,
I think our Mount Rushmore might get us going with some decent conversation there, so we'll have plenty there.
mhm.
Your let's see, your basketball teams played in the tournament last weekend.
We did. Yes, we did.
So I mean, we've got some stuff to touch on.
Dude, all right. So let's
So
do
yeah.
this. Let's do this. Let's start off. You went to Houston to
Mhm.
watch the University of Cincinnati play the number nine, four,
Three,
four,
3 or 4
three ranked Houston
Cougars.
Cougars. Uh, the state, I'll say this, you threw some snaps up on the chat snap, and it looked a little smaller than I thought. Did it have a second deck?
No.
No, that was all one level. It was higher, like it was pretty high,
Hmm.
all one level.
Yeah.
I was like, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. But it seemed updated. It seemed nice. It seemed
Yeah.
like a pretty nice joint.
Yeah. That's my buddy said we did it just in the last couple years, I guess. Um, but yeah, it was really nice. I think there was like some kind of club section, like right above the top
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
section there, but the bottom section,
Sure.
but there was not really an upper section, but so it was kind of a smaller venue, but it was really, I mean, it kind of made it, it wasn't, I was going to say it was almost like Cameron indoor because it's Cameron's a lot smaller than people think,
Yeah.
um, it made it feel really intimate and the atmosphere was great there. I mean, it
Well,
was
you got a top five team in the
sure,
country,
sure. And they've been good for
and
a
you've been
while
good
too.
for a while, right? Like you've got a good season ticket fan base
Mhm.
now. You've got a great fan base that's there, ready to go.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they've got, certain chants that everybody does throughout the game,
That's
and
awesome. Yeah,
that kind of stuff. And everybody's really into it.
that's cool.
So it
That's
was,
awesome.
yeah, it was cool. It was a pretty nice facility, and yeah, it was a good experience from there. And then
You
went
got to
to
see. I got my question is, you got to. I saw another snap up on the chat snap of you checking out a a parade of horses.
yeah.
What is going on? You're on a bridge.
Yeah.
I called it the rodeo when I was snapping back to you. Listen to me, I'm getting snappy tonight. When I was snapping, I've said snap like 3 times now. Maybe five. Count it. Fluffy. Um, so but
We'll put the little number in the corner with the ding every time you say
every
it.
time I say it, and then this fan says, anyway, I was talking and called it a rodeo, but it looked more like a parade of horses.
It was a parade of horses. It was a parade of horrors. It was, but and you were actually
I
right.
looked like look they all looked if it was a parade of horrors, they surprised me. They seemed well dressed. They didn't seem like they were out
Horrors,
horrors. Oh, sorry,
horrors.
sorry,
Horrors.
sorry. Whoa,
and and
whoa.
and with
No
that,
W, huh?
no, no, there's no W, no W. There was horse manure everywhere.
There was, I mean, I didn't count, but there was 100 horses
Yeah, there was 100 horses. There was
or
there
more.
was more than 100 horses because so what happened was we flew in, we got there at like 8 in the morning, their time
In Houston.
in Houston, and I called the day before. I was like, "Hey, is there any chance to get an early check-in?"
Hmm.
I,
Subject to availability.
yeah, yeah.
Is that
So,
what you got?
well, no, because I was like, okay, so we're going there for specific events. The first one, we've got to be there by 3 o'clock.
Hmm.
Is there any chance we could get into the room by like 2? And normal check-in was 3.
Right.
She was kind of hesitant. She's like, yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll probably have the room ready. I said, okay. So anyway, she said yes, but she was kind of like trying to cover herself.
Sure.
So we fly in. So we have tons of time to kill between the time we land to then. So we start walking. Um, Oh, we get dropped off, take an Uber from the airport to this little breakfast place. 'Cause so my buddy had recommendations. So anyway, we go to one of those places for breakfast, and then we just start walking kind of like in the direction where our hotel is.
Yeah.
And
With your luggage.
with our luggage, so we both packed because we were only there one day. Both packed pretty light, which killed me because I like to be prepared for
Mhm.
anything. But I had one small backpack,
Okay.
and he had a backpack. So we start walking, and we get to where we see those horses,
Yeah.
right? We go up over this bridge, which was, we're gonna have to cross over like this little highway or whatever to be able to go so we can keep walking to our hotel. And the horses were like, holy cow. So
All the people that were riding the horses had the same clothes on too.
yes. And so it ended up being a parade, a parade because the rodeo was in town.
Oh my God, did I get it both
You
right?
got them both right.
Let's go.
It was like
It was the rodeo, and my second was a parade of
it
horses.
was both.
It was both.
So there are like, big groups of people. I told my sister it was horse gangs. It was there was big groups of people that did that like were basically clubs probably. And so there were a
Like
bunch of different
motorcycle
groups,
clubs.
like motorcycle gangs. Exactly. That's what I thought of. And so we walk past them and then like through all of them right before they start the parade. That was like where it was starting. And so we keep walking down and like kind of like where the end where they were turning to go where the parade was going to go, there was a big field with a bunch of tents, booths set up because on the next street over, like that ran right next to it, there was a big race,
Okay.
a people race. And so we see the people and they're like finishing right where you go, and then you go down some steps into this like big valley where there was, the field. So we're killing time anyway, so we like go around and go down, and
Let's go check these people
let's
running now.
let's
Let's go
check it
see
out.
what's up.
So we go down, and there's a Rockets tent, a Houston Rockets tent,
Okay,
and
okay,
you all you had
okay,
to do was click your, the little QR code, and
okay.
it signed you up for something. I'll be getting some emails, but you got a free, you got a free Houston Rockets. They had a
You didn't give anybody your credit card this time, did you?
no Social Security, um, bank account, but not, yeah, not
Okay, okay.
so. Um,
ACH.
yeah. So so I got my my buddy got a Rockets cowboy hat, and I
Yes.
got some Rockets sunglasses.
Nice. Did he keep the cowboy hat?
So he kept it the whole time until I think he wore it all the way to the rest of the until we got to the hotel, and then it was at the hotel, and then when we were leaving, he's like, I guess I'm just gonna leave this here. So yeah.
Boo.
um
He could have totally brought that with him.
yeah.
Could have checked that bag,
He would.
man.
Yeah, I mean, he could have just worn it on the plane. Yeah.
Exactly.
So anyway, so that was, it was actually hot when we were
Sure.
walking, and it
Yeah.
was like 82 or 3 that day. And
What? So you got on the plane from here in the morning.
yeah.
You're in sweatpants, sweatshirt, probably,
Yeah.
right? Oh, so you're hot. Like people are looking at you guys like, what's wrong with these two?
Yeah. And we both had like jackets or sweatshirts or whatever, and then we had shirts under it, so we ended up taking those off,
Yeah.
and just had the t-shirt, but it was still really hot, and I had the backpack on the whole time,
Oh,
and
that's even
it was
hot. That's
sunny, and
hotter. Oh.
yeah. So, but anyway, it was, we walked all the way to our hotel, and got there, and it was like 11:30 or something like that, and we got to the hotel.
Mm.
So we're like, well, we're here.
All you can do is ask, man.
That's
That's all you
exactly
can
what
do is
happened.
ask.
Went up and talked to the lady. Couldn't be nicer. Yeah, we can.
We can
Yeah,
get you
we
in.
can get you in. We can get
Nice.
you in. Oh my God.
Let's go.
Yes.
All right. All right. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, question. 2 rooms,
So one room.
1 2 bed.
So one twin bed and one crib. No, I'm just kidding. We were trying to save money as much as we could on this trip. So we did get one room, which I always want to get my own room as an adult on
Mhm.
any trip. But um I
I'll
did that
tell
I did that
I'll
whole trip for like $500.
dude, that's cheap. So I'm gonna tell you this. Like, if I'm with other couples and stuff, I'm like, nah, man, I'm in my room. I'm not like
Right.
it's us and another couple. No, we don't need a 2 bed, like, and we're going to couple up or like I'm not doing this. But like if I'm on like a guy's like if I mean when we went to where did we go? To the Masters down in
Yeah.
Georgia. I mean, we had one room for 3 of us. Like
Wow.
I'm not messing. I don't or no. Sorry, the Masters was there was 4 of us that went to the Masters. And we had a Airbnb. It was a house. I apologize. But I still slept in a room with like the bedroom had a bunk bed and a side bed. Anyway, but when we went to Louisville for the US Open, there was 3 of us. And we had a it was 2 beds and a pull-out couch. I was, all right,
Yeah.
well, we're asleep here. We're fine. I'm cool with it in that sense.
Yeah.
But like in a sense of like couples, no, I need my own. No,
Sure.
I'm not
4 people is a
yeah.
lot to be
Well,
in one room,
it is a lot, and I don't want like couple stuff, and I'm not even talking about the dirty stuff. I'm just talking
No,
about
yeah.
everyday normal like
Just everybody's got to get into one
yeah,
bathroom, and
nah, man,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
good. I'm good. I'm good.
Absolutely.
If it's just like me and a couple buddies, I don't care. I'm gonna walk around in my underwear. I don't care about
Yeah,
that.
and that's why I
Um,
want my own room, because
I'm
I
not.
don't have to see you walking around in your
I'm
underwear.
not walking around in my underwear with somebody's wife in there though.
Right.
I don't want her to try to leave him. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to break up a happy
She would,
home.
yeah,
You feel me?
she would be tempted. It would be hard.
I'm not trying to break up a happy home.
Right. So yes. But the hotel ended up being really nice. Um, Service was great, and ate at some pretty good places, and walked around a little bit, and went to two basketball games in one day.
That's awesome.
Saw the Rockets and Kings. The only
Yeah.
bad thing about that, by the way, had great seats for both games.
I saw, yeah.
Total of $80
Man.
because the NBA game cost us $80 a piece. We were like 22 rows from the floor, and then my buddy knows like one of the strength coaches for UC basketball, and he
Really?
left us tickets for at
So
will from
you
him.
got seats right behind UC's bench, probably.
So no, they
Or
were
were you with the UC fans?
yeah, there were
Okay,
some UC
so
fans
so
there.
you're
Yeah.
yeah, so you're
I mean,
still
we
not in
were
bad. You're not terrible, yeah, because
yeah.
every every college has a section that most of them have two, really. They have a lower and an upper that they have designated for the other team bringing people. Um,
Yeah, there were a few UC fans around us. We were still in the middle of tons of Houston people,
sure,
but
sure, sure,
we were
sure, sure,
also,
sure, sure.
20, 22 rows or something like that from the floor there too.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I don't there wasn't a bad seat in the house there. But yeah, it was cool. I mean,
It's like Cintas. I don't feel like there's a bad seat in the house at Cintas.
yeah, and it's kind of a similar place. Like it's feels like pretty close
Hmm.
and yeah. So,
I mean, there's 10,000, like 10,500 at Cintas. That's
Houston doesn't hold that much. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it wasn't that much. But anyway, um yeah, it was good. The only bad thing about the games was, I mean, my buddy's a huge UC fan,
mm.
so he was bummed
Yeah.
about that. But
Was he really? Like, did he think they had a chance to go
no, no,
to Houston?
he was just hoping they could keep it competitive.
Okay, well, that
But
didn't happen either. But
right, right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was more competitive, probably. The final score was a little better, wasn't it? Wasn't it only like a 15-point game?
Yeah. Oh
Only
no, I actually I think it ended up
like
wasn't it ended up
nine?
being like nine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it was nine.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was nine. I remember looking at it.
yeah.
But it
So
it
that
never felt like it was in reach in
it's
reality,
I mean
right? It's like
it
the last night Xavier played Butler at Butler senior night. They got up by like 10 almost immediately,
Mhm.
and
That's a
they
senior night thing.
and they
Yeah.
pretty much had, and then it was like they got up by anywhere from 13 to 17. And it just like it Butler was never in it,
Mhm.
but it was always like a 13, 14, 15 point game. And it was like, oh, well, it didn't. So it
Oh,
felt like there was a
X
chance.
got up
Oh,
by
yeah,
10 quick.
X got
I,
up
I
by
got
10
you. I
quick.
got you.
And it felt like Butler was always kind of there, but it never really felt like Butler was there.
Yeah. Yep. That was pretty much the same thing. I mean, you can see the talent level and like
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
Houston is always like one of the top couple teams in the country in defense, and that was, you know, clear there and everything. They've got an All-American, and anyway, um, so that was all good. My like my two favorite players in the Rockets Kings game were Domantas Sabonis
Yes.
and
Not the Aaron Fox.
Steven Adams
Steve
plays
Adams.
for the Rockets. It was like a minute and 14 seconds into the
You,
game.
I feel like you would be a big Trey Young fan. Trey Young, that's not right. Is that right? Or is it
Trey
right?
Young, he plays for
Oh,
the
that's not the
Hawks.
Rockets. That's the Hawks. Is it Jalen Johnson? Is that the Rockets?
Jalen Green.
Jalen Green.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
I love him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, super athletic dude, and yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I
Um,
apologize. I apologize. So
yeah,
what
I
happened
like a
with those
bunch of the
two?
players on those
What
teams,
happened
but
with those two?
I was happy to see Domantas Sabonis play again. Minute like a minute 14 into the game, there's a play and then there's a timeout, and I nobody noticed anything happen, but dur during the timeout, Domantas Sabonis limps off the floor, and so a couple of coaches or people go with him into the locker room. Done. Never didn't come back
Oh
out.
no.
Yeah. So he did something to his ankle or something like that. So
He
anyway,
he's he's probably one of my five favorite players in the NBA.
yeah, probably me too.
Only
I,
because, not only because of, but just I love a guy who can go out and do anything.
yep.
I love that. I mean, there's very few people that can put their back to the basket one day, hit two threes,
Hmm.
take two threes, but score 30.
Yeah.
And then
Leads the
and,
league in
and
rebounding.
guaranteed he's going to get 12 rebounds,
Hmm.
guaranteed he's going to get 8 to 10 assists.
Yes,
and
great passer too. That's
unbelievable
yeah,
passer, but can play his back to the basket. He can also hit 5 threes in a game,
sure.
right? Like you never
Yep.
know. Joker is a lot of the same type of player. I love that. I
Yeah,
love those kind of guys.
me too.
LeBron can be that way.
Yeah.
Different, totally different
In a different way.
style.
Yeah.
However, does a lot of things. Doncic, same thing. Can
Mhm.
do just about. I mean, dude had 15 assists the other night.
Yeah.
Like I love guys like that. So that's cool. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So that was I mean that was the only bummer about the game, but we still, we got to watch a good game and the Rockets are kind of on a slide right now and so the Kings won without without
Even without
Sabonis.
him, yeah.
Um yeah, but that was it. That was it. We went back so we were
So they won without De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis.
right. Yep.
Is I mean, Sabonis is pretty much on his own right now, isn't he? Who's their number two
Yeah.
since De'Aaron Fox went to San Antonio?
Uh I mean they got
That's it. There you
trying
go.
to
There
think.
you go.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
it, bud. That's
Keegan
it. It's
Murray
the
and
Demontis. It's the
yeah.
Demontis Sabonis show.
Yeah. Uh, so yes, so then and we so my buddy picked me up at like 4:15 that morning.
Ooh,
So we get to so we're sitting there
ooh.
at the Rockets game and we're both like just not, we were just not we were just kind of ready to get some sleep. So our hotel has a nice bar restaurant and
Okay,
right off the lobby
sure.
and then a rooftop bar up top. Okay.
Oh, and it's Saturday night in
It's Saturday night in
Houston.
Houston. But this is a hotel rooftop bar. So I was kind of thinking like, maybe there'd be a couple people up there or something.
Oh man, that thing's
We go up there, it's packed. Packed, tons of people up there. But it was kind of perfect. Like it was a really nice so it was hot during the day, but it cooled down. It was a really nice night.
so it's rooftop. It's like 60 to 64,
Yeah.
little breeze in the
That's
air.
right.
Just I can picture it right now.
And there's a lot of people, but it was a really relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah,
People weren't going nuts or being real loud or
sure.
anything. They were just standing. There was a wedding there, I guess. So there was a bunch of people dressed in their wedding clothes,
Nice,
and so
nice.
there was like a big group of them in one corner. But
Now you're
um,
wishing you both had your own room.
yeah, yeah, there were some bridesmaids up there that looked pretty good. No, but I mean, it was really, there were a bunch of people, but it was like big enough where it was, for a little bit, we were kind of like looking for a spot to post up and then people walked away from this little corner table and walked over there and
Perfect.
got to stand, we
Perfect.
stood, but
Yeah.
it was cool. And yeah, it was really nice hotel and got it for a cheap price, got a really cheap round trip airfare.
Nice.
Um,
It's awesome,
yeah,
man. That's a good trip.
now the flight back was the tough part.
Did you hit a little turbulence?
Hit a little turbulence, and I don't like flying anyway.
Uh-huh.
But I ended up realizing after the flight back how good the flight out there was.
Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty smooth, pretty good. But yeah, it was nighttime. It was before it got dark. The sky was real dark, like clouds were real gray, and it looked like it was about to storm. I don't think it did, but with all the clouds,
Yeah.
you hit that turbulence almost
Yep.
right away. So
I don't know how it works, but sure.
yeah, but it was
I feel like it
rough.
can be beautiful and we still hit some
Still hit
turbulence.
turbulence. Yeah. I guess I don't really know either. But it was that, and then there was a baby, like an infant, on board that had a couple crying issues for
Did
a
you
little
have
bit.
the headphones? Did you bring the headphones with you?
I had earbuds,
Same thing.
but
Yeah.
yeah. So I did. I listened to something, and but so on the flight back, my buddy and I were in different rows, like a couple
Uh-huh.
rows away from each other. We were both in middle seats on the way back. We were both in
Oh,
aisle seats next to each other on the way out, which was another thing.
okay. Okay.
So middle seats coming back, and his legs are he's like 6'2", 6'3", something like that. His legs are really long, so he's stuck between. He had a big guy next to him on the aisle,
Uh,
so he's like crammed in this thing. The baby was right behind him. He's
oh,
like he's like the baby's cries were going right through my noise canceling headphones. He has
Yeah.
the ones like you're wearing now,
Yeah.
like all the way around.
Yeah.
So, and then there was a lady next to me who was either really, really anxious or just so physically uncomfortable. She could not, it was an older lady, could
C-
not stop moving around.
did you introduce yourself?
No.
Did you speak it at all? Even when who sat down first?
So, well, the girl, there was a girl that, or a lady that was in the window seat.
Okay.
She was there first, and then I got there and sat in the middle
Oh,
seat.
perfect. Nobody had to move around.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And we
Good.
both looked at each other. Hey, how's it going? That
Yep.
was it.
Okay.
But that the lady on the aisle was the problem lady. And she was like so crazy. The moment she walked on, I don't even know that I could have said
Just
hello.
flustered.
Flustered, and I don't know if it was
Oh.
her husband or somebody was in the aisle next to her on the other side.
Ugh.
And I felt like he was probably just like, because he didn't say a word or
He's
move the
probably
whole
like,
time.
I wish I was 3 rows behind us right now.
Yes.
I
He
wish I was
he
not
he just
right
looked like he
here.
was trying to just completely ignore her.
Yeah.
But she just couldn't stop moving, stretching, and couldn't get her pillow right. She wanted to lay her head on the tray table, and so she pulled it out, and it
Uh-huh.
was like low,
Yeah.
so she couldn't like real. She would have been like
She couldn't get
real
it. Yeah,
low.
couldn't get her head that low.
Yeah, but so she tries to like the hinges are so that you can pull it all the way out, and then you can like
Lift it up
lift
a
it
little.
up,
Yeah. And it's
but
still
it's
flat.
yeah, but it didn't stay up like that.
Sure.
But she was determined to make it stay that way. So she's jamming it into the back of the lady's seat
My God.
in front of her. I'm like, huh? Are this lady was so unaware of what she was doing. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Ugh,
She just couldn't. She got up and went to the bathroom like 3 times.
jeez.
She was just all over the place. But the turbulence was really bad. They made an announcement, so they have one cart that comes through with some snacks,
Yep.
and then the next cart comes through with drinks, right?
Beverage. Yeah.
Which was nice. But they're coming. They just start to come by with the drinks, starting in the front,
Uh-huh.
and the turbulence got so bad
Nope.
they made the announcement:
Sorry.
we're suspending our
Lock it down.
services. Yeah,
Lock it down.
everybody take your seats.
Meanwhile, I just ate a bag of peanuts and I need some water.
I've been as a guy from New York that I used to work with. My throat's all locked up.
My throat's locked up.
It's locking my throat up.
What's his name?
Paul.
Oh, Paul. I totally agree with you, Paul.
Yeah.
Throat, Paul.
I had yes, people had peanuts and pretzels and cookies and stuff all locking their throats up. So we got no drinks for a little bit. So and then they made the announcement and they had to go back and sit. And that's when I'm like, boy,
Here we go.
this is bad.
Yep.
This is bad. And so every time there's a sudden shift where you feel like you drop a little
Yeah.
or go to the side a little, I'm like, oh. In my head, of course, because I can't,
Can't say it out loud. You got two women. You got women on either side of you. You got to be the man of the row.
Yeah, yeah.
The man of the aisle.
So they make the announcement, and I'm like, oh, because that's usually what you do. Like, if the flight attendants are sitting, that's when
It's
it's a
time.
little
Yeah.
serious.
They put their seatbelt on. You better put your better. Everybody's in lockdown.
So that happened, and they made the announcement, and I'm like, okay, we're going down. You know what? I went out going on a basketball trip. It's
Doesn't get any better.
that's all right.
Mhm.
I'll on the way down, as soon as we start nosediving, I'll try to make a call
Yeah.
to the family and say something, but it's probably not going to work. But we never actually nosedove,
That's good.
and we ended up getting
Because
back
apparently,
in one piece.
there's been like 15.
Yeah.
Actually, it's been like one, maybe
Well, there
two.
was like,
But then there was a bunch of little planes, and apparently that
yeah,
happens all the time.
yeah, I heard
The
that too.
little plane stuff happens all the time. It just after the big one goes down, everybody starts finding out.
Yeah.
Everybody starts talking.
Yep. Yep. And yeah, so that happened in the couple weeks leading up to my flights. And so I got to think about that for the couple weeks leading up to that. But Anyway, that was I took up way too much time with the Houston trip, but we got back. It was overall a great time, really, really great trip, and Houston was Houston was nice.
Dude, I've heard nothing but good things about Houston.
I thought there would be more pockets of
So,
danger and things like that.
did you
There really wasn't.
isn't that where oh, he's in Austin. Rogan's in Austin?
Yeah,
Austin. Yeah, never
yeah,
mind. How far? Nah, it doesn't matter. Texas is
not
huge.
positive.
Texas is huge.
I know
Yeah,
Austin and
no
San
chance.
Antonio are real close together, like,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you got no chance.
We did go to, we found on the last day because we had, so we, here's another, sorry. Our checkout time is supposed to be 12, right?
Okay.
And so our flight's at like 7:58.
Oh, that
So we gotta,
sucks.
we gotta find some other stuff to do. So we are looking up stuff to do, and we go that morning. We go to a great place, a great breakfast place, and I ended up paying with my card and everything. And then we find a place called Biggio's.
Ooh,
This has
Craig's.
got to be Craig Biggio's
Yeah,
restaurant.
it's Craig's.
It's Craig Biggio's restaurant in, I don't know if he owns it, but it's probably he does. But it's, you walk in and there's, three or four of his jerseys from the Astros. Nice place. It's in the Marriott, I think, like the big, really
Okay.
nice
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marriott there. So we end up finding it and going in, and they take us. So we're walking in with our shorts and pants, or our sweatpants and stuff. So they're like, "Well, we got a bar upstairs. Why don't you guys go up there?" Like, so, okay, so you don't want the riffraff to be
Yeah, this is
in
where the
the
nice
in the
people
main
stay.
area.
Big
Yeah.
dog. You guys go upstairs.
So we go up there and there's like one or two people in that place. But we sat at the bar and we started there was an afternoon NBA game. We asked them to turn it on. They did. Um, and so we're sitting there for a little bit and we just I get a ginger ale, he gets a drink or whatever. And he she was just gonna put it on one tab. I'm like, "Oh, here, I can use mine." And I go, uh, think for a second. I left my card at that restaurant this morning.
Oh no.
Yep. So
Well, y'all got something to do in between
so
your flights
so I
now.
got so I look it up. It's like I forget, like a 17-minute walk or something to this place. But I'm like, I'm like, stay here. I'm gonna take an Uber. It'll be a quick,
I was
it'll
just
be
gonna
like a
say, yeah.
5-6 minute Uber or something,
Yeah.
like 5 minute Uber. And so I'm like, I'll run down, get it, and come back because I called him and they had it. I was like, oh my God, thank you. So I go, so I get the Uber. And the guy picks me up, and I'm like, "Hey, do you want super nice, super super nice guy?" And he starts talking to me right away, and I'm like, "Hey, I just have to run in here and get my card.
And then I'm coming right back.
Yeah, can I just like reserve another ride with you right away or whatever, so you can just
Yeah.
stay?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, no problem. Just I'll stay, and yeah, you can get another. You can request me or whatever." I never use Uber here, so I don't really know how to do that. So
Neither. Yeah.
he waits for me. I go in, I get it, come back out, jump back in, and he starts talking to me, and we're having a good old time. And
Never left. Is he still you guys are still parked?
no,
Oh,
he
he's starting
starts
to drive.
driving
Oh,
back,
okay.
and the whole time he's driving back, I'm going through Uber trying to figure out how
Nah,
to
man,
request
that
the ride.
that ride back that's straight cash on me.
Is it? He said there
I've
was
done
a way to do it.
I don't know. I have taken Ubers and done something like that before. And every time it's like, hey man, let me just give you a 20 on the way back, right? Can I just give you 20 to take? And it's always been something like that. I've done that a couple times, but I've never done it through the Uber app.
Okay.
I've paid for the ride, the original ride, but never paid for the
Yeah.
immediate take back.
I was trying to find some way to specifically request him, but I couldn't. And so we get back because it's a very short ride, and I'm like, so how does this work? I couldn't. He's like, well, he looked at. He's like, yeah, you didn't request another ride. He's like, you know what? He's like, it's all good. Like Uber will pay me like a little bit more for the whole entire ride or whatever, but don't worry about it. I was like, man, and he was like
Super cool.
such a
Yeah.
nice guy the whole time, and he was from
You can always tip.
Chicago.
You
And
can always tip a little extra.
I ended up doing that, yeah,
That's what I would have done.
yeah.
Yeah.
So because the ride there was like $8 or something.
Yeah.
So we got back, and I was like, can I just do it through the tip or whatever? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you don't have to, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. So I did that. I tipped him $20 or whatever, and that
Yeah. I
was
feel like that's the way
yeah.
to go. Yeah.
And
I've had,
that was the max tip too. You couldn't tip more than
oh,
20 bucks.
wow. Really?
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of times where I've been in an Uber and, well, I've had a couple different Uber experiences. One time we were going to the Oaks, which is the Friday before, um, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
The Oaks.
The Kentucky Derby.
Oh.
So we're going to the Oaks and this guy picks us up. Everything's cool. He's got a van. There's like five of us. We go and we're like, hey, what's your number, man? We just give you some cash instead of this. You cool with that? And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Call him up, like, hey, we're ready to go. Dude came, picked us up, gave him cash, got out of there. And we paid the same that we paid for the Uber on the way,
Mm.
but he got all of it instead of just whatever percentage, right? So
Yeah.
we were like, yo, this is gonna, because it was on the Oaks, it's that Derby week, so it was expensive. It's like, hey, this is $100 or whatever. I think it was like $80. Like, if we just give you $80 on the way back, will you just come pick us up if we call you? He's like, absolutely, yes, I'll be there. Totally worked out. When we went to the I went to the US Open on Thursday with people from work, and it's, dude, you walk to this place where all the Ubers and everything are, and there's just people everywhere. And you're like, we were like, oh, because we decided to stay till the end. There was four of us that stayed till the end, and the rest of the group went back to the house that they had rented to cook dinner and get everything ready. And we're like, no, man, we're at the US Open, right? Like, we're staying all day. We're gonna watch the last hole of golf be played. We're gonna, like, the dudes that I brought with me, they're like, no, we don't want to leave. Cool, we'll stay.
Yeah.
So we go up there and call them. And I'm like, man, I don't know how long it's gonna take. My app says it could take 45 minutes to an hour before somebody gets here.
Wow.
And there's people, just everybody sitting on curbs in this like park, because that's where the pickup place was. And he was like, guy tells us, so like, this was incredibly smart. He goes, stand there. It'll take 10 minutes. There'll be a car that pulls up, an Uber will pull up, and nobody will get in it. Keep an eye. If that Uber sits there for over 2 minutes, just walk up, offer him. It was more money than I would like to say it was,
Mm.
but it was more money than the ride would have cost us. But he was also bumping somebody and everything else,
Sure.
and we got an
You
hour
didn't have to
early. I didn't
wait.
have to wait for an hour,
Yeah.
so I gave that dude a nice chunk of change. He turned his little Uber off and took us home.
Nice.
So there's ways to get around a lot of stuff with Ubers and Lyfts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways. And those dudes that are driving, if you're talking cash, if you start talking cash, man, they'll cancel whatever ride they got. They don't care. Give me a zero for this ride. I don't care. I'm getting straight cash, homie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess that's true. If you have to, I wonder if you can get a bad rating if you have a pickup that you're
I
going
mean,
to
if
and
you're
you
supposed to
cancel.
pick up and then all of a sudden you're not there, like you are, it's right at the time you're supposed to be there and then you're not there,
Yeah.
I imagine you're probably going to get a zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in a big opportunity like that, like a lot of people don't even care, and they're just like, just bring me the car. Where's the car? What's going on?
Yeah. That's
Anyway, yeah, offered him quite a bit of money, jumped in. He's like, yeah, jump on in. Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So that was pretty much the trip. Oh, so I get back to Biggio's, right? And we're looking at something else to do. We're looking at a place to eat and stuff before we head to the airport. And we get the TVs on and we realize, first of all, the hotel is right next to the Astros ballpark. All right.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like we find out that there's a like a college baseball showcase there or something, and there are some of the biggest like Texas Bail like big time college teams playing there that day, and there's like 3 or 4 games all day long.
Oh, that's awesome.
So so we find that out like shortly, like right as we were about to leave anyway. And because we found this arcade, because we were like, let's find some Papa Shot around here, right?
Sure.
So we find this arcade that
That
has
sounds
Papa Shot.
exactly like any time I've ever been with Adam anywhere. Hey,
Yeah,
let's find Pop Shot.
I want to find the Papa Shot. I want to know what the record is. No.
I, I try to beat every record that I ever go to when I go to Papa Shot, unless Adam's with me, and I'm like, all right, let's see what Adam can do. All right, I'll be 50 behind Adam, on whatever Adam's new record is.
No, so we find this place, and so we were gonna go there, but as we're walking out, pretty much, he's like, "Dude, you want to go?" And we start talking to this guy that was sitting there that just came from the last game that sat next to us at the bar, and he was like, because we were talking about we had our bags with us, and we were like, my buddy asked him, he's like, what do you think about the security there? Like, will they not
Allow,
let
yeah.
us in with the bag? And he's like, well, I don't know. He looks it up on his phone. He's like, it's this by this by this. He's like, but I don't know. I'm like, if you go and just talk to them, it didn't seem like they were super crazy about it.
It's a college showcase, man. I
Yeah,
feel like that's not
it's not
that's
going to be the
the
same
security is
intensity.
not the same as
Sure.
something else.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it should be, but it's probably not.
But why should it be?
Cause I mean, you gotta. It's the
If
same
it's not going to be
idea.
as packed of a place isn't going to be packed.
No,
That's what security's for, is how many people are there, right? Like,
no, I'm thinking like what you have in your
well,
bag.
that could be anywhere though. Then security would have to be ramped up everywhere you went. I think it's more about how much security they have, how many people can they watch.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I
Maybe.
don't know. I'm
I didn't
just,
even
it
think
doesn't
of it
even
that way.
matter. That's the way I see it. Anyway,
So
continue.
it's we have bags bigger than we're supposed to
Then they're
have or
supposed to
whatever.
be. Yeah.
So we start. So we're like, I don't know. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking this would be awesome to go to, but there was a game that had just started. It was I can't remember who was playing, but it was like two really good teams. And I was like, it'd be cool, but like we're gonna sit here in the sun for the next 3 hours and go immediately to the airport.
Stank.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe we just go to this place and just see what because it's indoors. And actually, it was a really really nice day that day. It wasn't as hot as the day before, but we walk out and we start walking toward the ballpark. And he's like, you know what? Maybe we should just go to the
Arcade.
arcade or whatever. So we do. So we start walking to the arcade, and it's 20 minutes away or something like that. And so that's the first time we saw anybody unhoused. And
Oh,
yeah, and
that's
we
the first time? And you were downtown that
the
whole
whole time.
time.
Yep, we
Nice.
stayed downtown and everything. Yep.
Very few unhoused people
Very few unhoused.
in the Houston area.
Yeah. But then we ended up so we
I would
start
think it would be opposite. I would think that'd be a popular place
me too.
to be unhoused.
That's what I thought. And then so I went to, or so we're walking, and we start seeing rundown houses and apartment buildings and graffiti. And he's like, I wonder if we should just get an Uber from right here. Maybe. So, but we just kept walking, and we're like, I'm like, yeah, okay. We obviously things are starting to change here, and that's when we walk past a couple, homeless people, and then we walk across a street, and right like on the other side of the street, we can see there's tons of tents and garbage, and
Oh,
it's like the whole community is that way. So we cross and we kind of go the other way, and then we end up in a like crossing we literally crossed railroad tracks like they always like it's a movie, and we cross
the
back
damn
over.
hobos.
Yeah, and we cross back over, and then there's a little pocket of a nicer place, and that's where the arcade was. We go in there, and it is packed. Tons of people, so many kids. I think there were maybe a couple of parties there at that time or something. So we ended up playing one game of Papa Shot.
Did you beat the record in the one game?
I didn't. I didn't. I needed another, who knows, game two or
Yeah.
something like that. And so yeah, I didn't.
I love that you're like, I needed another at least one, maybe two games, but I definitely would have
Oh,
beat it.
I
Like
I don't.
very confident. I definitely would have beat it.
It
I
was
just needed one or two more games.
it was
It's
89.
okay. It's totally okay to be that confident. Adam, it's totally okay.
I don't know if I would have beaten it. It was
You would have.
I felt good because it was 89, and I saw a couple other
You've been
people
around the
shoot.
110s plenty in your life.
But that depends on what kind of pop a shot it is, how
Is it
many
the back and forth?
basketballs.
How many
Right,
basketballs is huge?
right.
How long am I got to wait? You know,
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, we're trying, and we even got
Adam's
cut.
doing math while he's watching the 8-year-olds shoot
I'm
before him. Like,
like, I'm
one,
like,
two,
well, that
there's
little
four
kid got
balls.
50.
Yeah.
I can definitely, I think I can get 80 on the first one. No,
There's four balls. It's stationary. I'm killing this.
yeah, it was, but I didn't. I don't know what it was, 68 or something on that first one. So I was like way off. But, uh, but anyway, there was just so many people there. We ended up playing like a game of arcade NBA Jam and one shooting game and a motorcycle. You sit on the motorcycle thing and yeah. And then they did have the Connect Four basketball game, right? You've probably
Oh,
seen that, right?
I've never played Connect Four basketball before.
So they got it like
So
at
do you make it and then pick where the ball goes, or
no, there are however many rows there are or columns there are that many like it's just like a shoot.
whoa?
And it's a big game. And so you stand back probably 10 feet away from this thing and you got to shoot and then where you go you see a big video
10 foot
board
is
and it
not an
tells
easy jumper, bub. 10 foot's not a. It's not a
yeah
high percentage jumper.
it's yeah but it was so you see like a big video board and wherever your ball goes it shows you in the Connect Four board and all that. It's at Steve and Barry's. It's at Dave and
Yes,
Buster's.
I did that forever in my life.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
it's where I got my Stephon Marbury shorts.
Yeah.
My baby blue Stephon Marbury shorts from Stephen Buster's, Stephen Barry's were my favorite. I
And
love
an
those.
off-brand Howard University sweatshirt.
Yes. This might be, I'm no lie, no joke. I'm not lying to you. This Xavier sweatshirt might be from Stephen Barry's. Because it's at this, I know it's every bit of 25 years old.
Oh, there you go.
I gotta
Could
check
be.
I gotta check the tag.
Could be.
We got a Stephen Barry's tag on here. You gotta look at the tag on this.
Okay. Stephen Barry's? Is it Stephen Johnny's? Is it Stephen Stevens?
It is. You ain't got your glasses on. You
No,
can't see
it's a
nothing.
J America Sportswear.
That's 100% Stephen Barry's. That's
Probably.
a Stephen Barry's brand. I'm telling you right now, this might be. I'm 90% sure this is Stephen Barry's I have on
It's a
right now.
brand you've never heard of. It might be from Stephen Barry's.
You got them mulberries? You got them mulberries? Dude, hey,
They
you
have a
wanted big baggy?
$20
You wanted big baggy shorts back in the day? Go get your mulberries from Stephen Barry's, dude.
That's right. And
Oh, those
that's who
baby
sold the
blues were. Oh, I had all baby blues with this like different fabric down the side with the mulberry emblem on it. I love those, man. I love those shorts.
Oh,
Love those shorts. You can't buy shorts like that anymore. Can't do it.
yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so we played a few games and then we go eat at this pizza place next to it. And it was one of the worst pizzas I've ever had. They just opened up and this lady was like
Oh.
trying to like really, talk it up and she's like, "Yeah, she was telling us all about yeah, we just opened up. We're not even really officially open. We're like we're it's like a soft opening like we're working on this and this and this and
Are
and
you
it's
working on how to make a pizza? Or are you working on what are you
yeah.
working on? Lighting?
First of all, I mean, you see everything right there. There's like a bar, there's some
Yeah.
tables, but we sit at the bar and everything's made right there. And
What
it's
kind of oven they got?
it's first of all, it's 90 degrees in there. We walk
Ugh.
in and immediately I'm like, oh my
It's time to
God.
go. It's time to go.
So yeah.
No
so-
ventilation. It's time to go.
yeah. So but we stayed there and we had their pizza and I was like, this isn't I mean, pizza's it's almost like
Oh, pizza's
Pizza's
good.
good
It's
no
gonna be
matter what,
good. But
but
dude,
compared to every other pizza, it's not one of the best.
when you have a good pizza, you're like it's different.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
The
you
cheese is going to be good on every pizza, probably, but it's you don't know, you don't feel
I
that
disagree with
really.
that. Yeah. I feel like sauce is not good with every pizza. Cheese is not good with every pizza. But like everything has its you can have a pizza that's got the cheese is like, ooh, oh, good job with the cheese, but the sauce sucks and it's cardboard crust,
Yeah, it
or
was pretty thin.
greasy, floppy can happen. And I'm not a big greasy, floppy kind of guy. I
Hmm.
want a nice, crisp, like a crisp.
I'm more of a floppy pizza guy.
Are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
See, everybody's got their own,
I
man.
like a soft pizza.
Yeah.
Um,
Big J
yes,
talks about in the very beginning of his podcast, talks about, not podcast, special,
special.
talks about soft pizzas.
I'm glad you said that. We ought to head over to the Mount Rushmore. Great Houston trip, unless you have something else.
But I got nothing. I got nothing. I mean, it's just another week of the same old thing, the same old thing.
Okay.
Boys went out, played a basketball game against the team they just beat and got and lost by 20. Um,
What was the
and
difference?
coaching.
Obviously not. You coached them to a win last time.
This was the team that we played. We were down by 10, and
Oh.
I got there and I missed the first half and came back and we came back. Our zone offense, we worked on it and worked on it. And they put pressure. It's the one that you had kind of talked to me about, right? Where ball goes to the right, four comes to the top, opposite side cuts to the middle,
Mhm.
right? I feel like that's the one. I think you talked to me about that. Anyway, maybe
Okay.
not. It- my point guard had too much pressure on him.
Hmm.
Like they pulled it up higher than before, which made the middle more open, but we couldn't get that first pass off. And then they ran like more of a pressure press that hurt us to where we're used to a press that kind of lets us get the ball in
Hmm.
and then we can reverse it and go. And I got two good ball handlers that can get to the middle and then we can go pass, but they can dribble, they can get three or four dribbles and then make that smart pass.
Hmm.
They put and it wasn't man, right? So I tried to put in like a pick in like a two pick kind of thing, but it wasn't man. So it didn't matter what I ran. It was just a high pressure press.
Mm.
And we could not break it. Could not break it. It was almost man to begin with, but as soon as the ball got inbounded, whoever was guarding the ball left the ball and didn't exactly when I say guarded the ball, guarded the inbound because we had pressure on the inbound,
Okay.
pressure
Yeah.
on anybody else around. And as soon as the ball got inbounded, it wasn't an immediate trap, but he put himself in a like we couldn't get to a soft spot in that zone because we didn't know what to do. Like we just, we run to the exact same places every single time and it's anyway, yeah, so the press killed us because we don't have a coach that could really that could beat it. And that was no, and I don't mean that like making fun of myself. I mean it 100%. Like I don't do that. That's not my thing. So I take a big part of it. But we do got pizza party this Thursday for the
Yeah.
boys. Thanks to Adam Schmidt on the idea and
Wasn't
pizza
bad.
party on the Monday for the girls.
Hey.
I'm doing them both. No
Good.
big giant. Every person comes to the party. Just drop your kid off 6 o'clock. Come get him at 7. Going to Boudinot. Gotta go to the
Oh yeah.
Boudinot. Going to the
Gotta go
Boudinot.
to Buno.
Going to the Boudinot La Rosas. And yeah, gonna have I'm bringing a buddy card though. I can tell you that right now. After your story, I'm
Sure.
bringing a buddy card.
Yeah.
So bring the buddy card, eat some pizza, have some sweet tea, and get to getting, man. And it's
Sweet tea.
yeah, I say sweet tea. I'll probably have Diet Mountain Dew or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, then on the baseball, which
On the
is
baseball.
this weekend, Saturday,
I'll tell you what.
11 and 12:45.
Okay.
It's time.
Back to backers
It's
right off the
time.
bat.
It's time, bud. It's time. I can't wait.
I can tell.
I can't wait, dude. I
I
can't wait. I can't wait. We got on a
love
field
that for
last
you.
week. Got on a field last week. This week. We were on the field this week and very excited.
Nice.
Very excited.
You barely, I mean, you had a small window there where a field could have been dry at all.
Yeah, very
Uh,
small. But I went up. Yeah, the fields were soft. Went up, turned them over, and the sun was out, which I mean, it's 25 minutes and it dries. And
mm,
then I was able to, once you put a spike on it and, get deep and turn that field over and the sun hits it, all you got to do is drag it one time. That thing's ready to go.
nice.
Yeah. So
Nice.
it was nice. The sun was out. We were able to make it happen. Um, yeah. So got on the field. It was beautiful. Some of the kids may or may not have forgot how to field a fly ball, because we've only thrown fly balls in an indoor place that's like 22 feet in the air. So when Coach Chris starts hitting fly balls, yeah, somebody getting hurt. Like I'm skyballing these things, man.
Sure.
Sometimes I hit them and I'm like, "Ooh, see ya." I got a little kid. Like we were working on fly balls to the outfield, hitting the cutoff, and then throwing home. Right, so cutoffs and then hitting home, and then the catchers were working on their swipe tags at home. And so the catcher's next to me, and I was like, "Ooh, he's running," because I just got every bit of it. By the end, the catcher was doing it for me. So when he'd see me get a hold of one, he'd be like, "You got him."
That's good.
But anyway, no, it's time, man. It's time. You know what's funny about this is I know who I am. I
Mhm.
know who I am. We joke about it on this podcast all the time. I know who I am when it comes to baseball coaching and playing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have never one time backed away or tried to make an excuse for what I do. Never one time.
Yeah.
I love it. Right? Like my kids want to play baseball. They're ready to play right now. So we're going to play. They want to play. We're going to play. That's what we're doing. And I'm going to get them ready. In order to make them play now, we got to start early because I'm not just going to throw pitchers out there that have never, that haven't got to work. So we ramp up over a month and a half to 2 month time, get their arms ready, and now it's time to play.
2 months. Yeah.
You got, dude, arms are a scary thing.
You
If
had
you
a,
don't take care of an arm, if you don't take care of that arm and you just go out there and start throwing hard, you're gonna hurt somebody.
I'm not saying wow, 2 months is so long. I'm saying you had a 5 a.m. throwing session on Thanksgiving day. I mean, we're not talking 2 months. We're talking
I did not. There was no baseball in November. I can promise there was no
there
baseball
was
in
no
November.
baseball in November.
Not a single baseball in November.
When did your fall league end last year?
October, somewhere right in the middle of
31st.
October. No, it was in the middle of October, like 13th,
Okay.
14th, 15th, somewhere in
Wow,
there.
you gave him a couple weeks off.
You
Good for
got that.
you.
We didn't even no, we didn't throw for a full 2 months. We took 2 full months off before we started throwing. I didn't start pitching and ramping up again until the end of December.
Oh, that New Year's Day, 5 a.m. That's right.
Oh, we practiced in December. We were still practicing. We just weren't pitching. I'm saving all.
Okay,
We're just
okay,
gonna
okay.
listen. There's a method to the madness, my friend. There's a method. Once again,
Dude,
I am here. I am here not to apologize or make excuses for anything I do. I know what I'm doing. The kids want to play ball in March. I want to play ball in March. Hey, boys, you guys want to play early? You want to play as soon as we can? They say, yeah. All right, well, here's what we got to do that. I'm not going to just start practicing at the middle of February or end of February and then play in March. It's not going to happen. I'm going to hurt somebody. The last thing I ever want to do in my life is hurt somebody. So what do? We take our allotted 2 months off, no throwing, take care of that arm, and then we slowly ramp it back up.
mhm,
And we get in and we go.
good.
And we take another 2 months off in the beginning, in the middle. We take almost all of July
Oh,
and we take all of August off.
and
And
then
then we
you.
start back up in September,
Mhm.
October, It's only fall's only a month and a half. That's it.
Okay.
It ain't nothing.
All
You
right.
can laugh. I'm telling
I-
you, I'm not apologizing for anything I do. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it to the point to where I'm going to try to take care of the kids the best I can. Anyway, the point is basketball got done this weekend. Okay? This is the whole point of the story.
when the so did in your mind when the buzzer sounded
No, I
on
was
your
disappointed. I
last
was really
basketball?
nope. Because my assistant coach helps me with baseball, and he was like, "Well, it's time, huh?" And I was like, "I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm really, really, really disappointed right now. Like
Yeah.
I'm ready. I was ready to finish this weekend out. Like I thought we had a chance to really finish this weekend out.
Yeah.
And so no, 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 not even a little bit. Now, 45 minutes later,
Mhm.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It
You're
was
on there
time.
looking at baseball videos like, "Oh, I like this
I don't
drill.
even
We're gonna
need
do."
baby. No, no, the videos weren't there. I'm looking at what the teams we're about to play is what they did in fall. I'm like, what's their fall record? Who'd they play? Okay, we played them in spring. How did this do? Yeah, I'm already there. Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. I like giving you a hard time about that, but if I was still coaching, like actually any level of basketball, I'd want to. I mean, our season ended 2 weeks ago. I'd be good to start like in a week.
Yeah.
I would love to just get in the gym and
Yeah,
just
basketball's
work
different
on
though.
it.
There's no like you don't have the there's no like chance of hurting somebody because you took too many shots in, you know, in April. You know what I mean? Like baseball, you can hurt somebody's arm
You can
by
have,
over pitching and doing different things. Like you can hurt somebody. Like
yeah.
you can affect their career by doing things to them. So I try to be I've gone to Reds pitching clinics. And we've talked about that on here where it's partially dumb, but there was little parts that made sense and that they actually told you something, which was how long does the arm need to rest before it can start ramping up again, right?
Mhm.
Like what is that period of time? So I go 100% by that. I try to do everything I can and look up everything I can to make sure I do whatever I can to help arms. Hitting and all that, fielding, but I'm with you on basketball and that. Like it's time. Like if we could just get a pitching machine and just play a tournament off a pitching machine, let's go. I'm in. Like I do that all day. The problem with baseball is that you've got to throw kids, right? And in fall ball, we throw one kid an inning and it's pretty harmless. But now it's like it's the first tournament of the year. Some people call this preseason. This ain't no preseason, homeboy. This ain't no
What
preseason.
you need to do, you can, I mean, just teach all of your kids all knuckleballs, and you
I
can
got
throw
two that throw one. I
you
got
can
two that
you can
throw 'em.
throw them as much
Yeah,
as you want.
yeah. I got two to throw a knuckleball. I got two to throw. And to be honest, they both can throw for a strike.
Wow.
It's at this age, man, it's changing speeds. That's what it's
Yeah.
about. It's not about what the
It's
ball
not moving a
does.
lot.
Nah, movement's big. I mean, movement's nice if you get something that's got some movement on it, but it's changing speeds. It's
Yeah.
that's what it's all about right now. It's
Yeah.
changing speeds. But anyway, very excited about that. But well, my story that I was gonna say is basketball got done, and there's another baseball coach. So I've got 8 kids that played basketball on my baseball team. They're on 4 different teams. Okay. So a few of them are on a team that have another baseball coach that has a kid on the team, but from a different team. And apparently it got a little bit of what Chris does is crazy. There's no reason for you guys to be playing this early, and some stuff like that came out. And had some parents that stuck up for the old boy. Yeah, like,
Wow.
hey, well, here's the deal. The kids want to play. He starts early so we can play early, and this is what we want to do. Better than not starting till later and not doing anything in between. Like got a little had some words
Oh,
all backing me up. All
wow.
backing me up.
Good for you.
Very excited about that. So it makes me feel like, all right, maybe it's not just me.
Is it like early is just all tournaments, whatever you can get in?
Yeah, right now, so last week was going to be one, didn't get in. And I get in 3 tournaments in March purposely because if we get one in, then great, right?
Hmm.
So I've got us in 4 tournaments in
That's
March
true. You kind of have to over plan a little bit because you're
because
going
of
to
the
get a lot of
weather and the
cancellations.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I signed up for 4 tournaments. First 2 were on dirt, so there's a really good chance those are going to get something's going to get canceled there. The
Are they
last 2
canceled or postponed?
canceled.
Okay.
There's no postponement. Yes, they'll get canceled. And then the second one, the last 2 were both on turf. So those are probably going to get played. I'm playing the end of March. That's when we start. I'm playing the end of March. Whether you like, if you don't play till April, then you don't play till April. I don't care when you play. I got nothing. I don't understand why everybody's got to talk about what everybody does. Why
It,
does everybody got to have an opinion about what everybody does? I want to do
also,
this. This is what we do. My kids want to do it. That's what they want to do. Why do you want to say something about what I'm doing?
if there are all these tournaments in March, you're not the only one
A
playing
hundred
early.
percent. I'm not the only one playing. Not this weekend, but next weekend. There's 14 teams in our tournament.
There you go. Everybody else is doing it too.
My point is, it was nice to have a little backup, right? Because I know I get there's videos online, and it's the travel ball dad. Yeah, we're playing this weekend. Yeah,
Right.
it's a it's a U Trip national qualifier. Blah blah. How many teams are in? There's 4 of us in this thing, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's not okay,
Yeah.
right? Like those are like that's overboard. There could be 4 teams in the tournament I'm in. I don't care. The point is I want to play. The boys want to play. We're all excited to play. There's an excitement around it,
Yeah.
right? If you coach at the same level as me and you don't want to, nobody cares. It's okay.
Hmm.
Don't talk about me though. Don't say anything about what I'm doing. That
Yeah.
I'm not you. I'm not your team. However, I have had 2 kids from that team reach out and ask if we need subs for these few tournaments to go ahead and give them a call.
Wow.
So maybe you need to get your together
Maybe
and
your kids
figure it.
want to play
Yeah,
and yeah, and you're not letting.
just saying. Just saying. Just saying.
Is there any so yeah, one thing is I was watching I'm so obsessed with watching videos of Pat Kelsey speak.
He is
I'm
amazing, isn't he?
he's unbelievable.
When he was at Elder and I was a freshman, I don't like it. It was a lot of the same stuff. And I was only there for like a week of tryouts, right? I got cut pretty much immediately. But like every single tryout, every practice, every open gym, he spoke
Mhm.
at the end. Dudes, he's something.
He's so yeah, he's very he's really inspirational. He's really good at speaking about leadership and like
Yeah.
everything that you need for a basketball team or any probably any sports team to work. He's got his finger on the pulse of everything it seems like. Anyway, I was watching a podcast that he was on recently, and he said somebody asked him, "What are does anything make you mad or something?" He said somehow it came up where he's like, there's 2 things that really bother me, and I forget what the other one was, but the first one was when people talk about each other behind their backs. He's like, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. So that made me think of that when you were saying that.
And in
Um,
in in this coach that I'm talking about, it I don't want it to sound like he talks behind my back because he messes with me about the same thing. He'll
yeah,
say it
yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Apparently, he says it in a different tone when I'm not there, but he still says it to me. So I'm fine with it. Like that doesn't bother me. My thing is, I don't talk like why? What does it matter what I'm doing? Whether you're telling me to my face or not.
Yeah.
What does it matter? If this is what my team wants to do, why do you care?
It had to be he was just talking to somebody, and that came up somehow, I'm sure. But
Specifically talking to parents on my team, it's going to come up.
well, there you go.
It's going to
Then
come
you
up
got
if
the
you specifically do that.
it seems like you have such a rapport with all the parents on your team too. It doesn't surprise me that everybody was like, "No, we we want to play. We're playing because we want to play."
And our basketball sucks. So everybody's done with basketball.
Uh,
anyway. Anyway,
um,
no. Yeah. So
yeah. Uh, Oh, there was one other thing I was thinking. I can't now. I've lost it. Um,
Oh, the
question.
girls did the same thing. Girls came out, so girls come out to play basketball. We're in a bracket we should win, and we go up 13 to 6 at halftime, and they might have got a little cocky.
Uh,
And this team had 12 girls on it that we were playing.
oh,
So we're playing, and their scorekeeper's standing right because I was by myself. I didn't have anybody to help me, so I'm keeping score. I'm coaching,
oh my
I'm doing,
God.
and I'm subbing kids at the same time.
Jeez.
Um, so it's 16 to what did I say it was six? No,
13
13 to 6.
6. Yeah.
And it felt pretty good, right? Felt pretty good. Like they've only scored 6 in the first half. We have 13 total. It feels like we should be able to make something happen here. And the guy keeping score goes, when there's 10 minutes, looks at the other coach and goes, the rules say when there's 10 minutes left in the second half, you can play whoever you want whenever you want.
Mm.
Well, I just sub in. Like, I don't even know if there's timekeeping rules. I don't know. Holy cow. He had 3 girls that were monsters. And they put all 3 in for the last 10 minutes, and they ended up beating us by 3. And it was 19 to 16. We scored 3 points in the second
Yeah.
half. Didn't all free throws, not a single bucket, all free throws. These girls were animals, dude.
Wow.
Animals. Just and we couldn't do anything. I tried to switch our offense up. I tried, but you try to switch the offense up on third grade girls that have been doing the same thing for 6 weeks, they're like, nope, it didn't, none of it happened. I'm like, why are you doing that? I just told you to do this. And get those little puppy dog eyes, and it's like, it's okay, it's okay, it's
Yeah.
okay, it's okay. But so we ended up losing as well. And I
Mm.
feel like we could have went on and at least made it to the finals. It would have been tough to win, but we could have made it to the finals. Is what it is.
Well, you guys had your girls team had a really good season,
Had a
right?
very good season.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We came in first in our division. Um, I'm calling it first. They call it second. I beat the same team head to head. They were 16. They were 6 and no, they were 7-3. We were 7-3. We beat them twice. I kind of feel like we should have
Huh.
been ahead of them,
Yeah.
but it went by points allowed were the
Okay.
first tiebreaker because there was 4 divisions, and to put them into a bracket, they have to make it points allowed instead of head to head. However, I still should have won my division because we played each other in the division, right? Like I don't care what you
You
put me in
should have
the bracket play, put me wherever you want, but I should be first in my division.
you should have kept that press on a little longer in that one game, you
Can't
know?
press, can't press. These little girls can't press. They can't play zone. It's like, what are we even teaching these kids? I get the no press, but I should be able to play zone if I want to play zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, um, okay. So congratulations on finishing basketball and getting started on baseball.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
I've got to go to the bathroom.
Please go to the
Will you
bathroom.
will you tell these people about what our Mount Rushmore is?
Yeah, sure will.
Let's go.
That's I was transitioning right there anyway. Um, so Mount Rushmore of the worst rules in baseball. We talked a little bit about this last week, I believe, because there are 2 new rules this year in Major League Baseball. The one about the shift. It's now instead of having the option, the offensive team having the option when there's a violation of the shift rule, they can either take the result of the play or take a ball for the batter that's up then. Now it's going to be you get the choice of the result of the play or everybody advances a base, including the person at bat gets the first base. Whoever else is on advances. So that is the case if the first person to touch the baseball is the person violating the rule. So if the second baseman comes on the shortstop side of second base, and the ball comes to him, is hit to him, and he does whatever with it, that's when the offensive team has the option to advance everybody one base. Talked about that last week. You got the other one with the if they round second base and there's a guy on third going home, it's as soon as the guy rounds second base and gets both feet on the other side of the base, uh, if the guy on third has not scored yet, out of there. Um, we talked about that one last week. So could be either of those two or both, or are there any other rules? What other rules, I should say, do you feel like are the worst rules in baseball right now?
There's plenty.
Okay.
No, there really isn't. I'm not gonna lie to you. As I was looking at this, I don't I don't mind very many of the rules. I understand why they're being put in. I understand how what the reasoning is for them. Um, yeah, a lot of them I don't mind. I will say there's also quite a few I probably don't know that I would be irritated by,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know them,
Right.
right? So what are they? Um, After we talked last week, I think for sure the rounding second rule with a man on third is the dumbest rule in the history of baseball ever.
You know what I was thinking earlier today? I was thinking about that rule again. I We might see people get to the base, get to second base, and round it because sliding will slow you down. If you feel like you can beat it, and then take like basically jump and do like a double jump, like jump from the base to toward third base, 1 foot, another big jump,
Yeah,
another foot, because that,
that's your 2 feet.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that gives your guy going
And
home
that's
more
the
time.
rule. I love that you thought of that because what can you figure out, right? What that's so dumb. You should just let me play baseball. I tell the kids all this goes back into basketball too. Like when we are running our offense in basketball on in practice and we have a defense behind it, like we're playing defense at the same time. They know what's going to happen. They're going to cheat. Defense is going to cheat.
Mhm.
Every offense has a way to punish an offense if they cheat what you're doing, right? If you're going this way, then you can backdoor cut instead of coming up top, right? You do all these different things. So we tell our kids all the time, and they're like, "Well, he was cheating up, he was doing this, he knew it was coming." Okay, now you got to play basketball. Now you got to do this, right? Now backdoor cut, beat it. If they cheat, they should get beat somewhere else.
Mhm.
Let them cheat. Let them cheat because we can beat them somewhere else.
Yeah.
With baseball, that I feel like part of it's kind of the same. Like if I feel like I can get something out of this, if I can round second hard, get in a pickle, and that guy can score, there's nothing illegal about that in baseball.
Right.
Beat it. Beat it. Right? If he rounds it hard because you weren't able to flip it to second fast enough to get the out, throw it home and get the out. Tag him, throw it to third, get that out. Right? Just beat it. Beat it. I tell my kids all the time in baseball, like when we were younger, kids would just run the bases. They teams coaches would there'd be a ground ball to there'd be a man on first and a ground ball to the shortstop. And the man on first would go to second and the kid would field it and he's never stops the kid and he sends him all the way home. And you're 8 years old. You're not gonna first off for that kid to catch the ball at short, make the out at first, then to catch the ball at first, turn around and make a throw home. That's a lot. It's
Yeah.
probably not gonna happen.
Right.
But you're not teaching your kid how to play baseball, right? You're not teaching them. So if you're gonna cheat and do that, when you get older, that's never gonna work. In fact, in the last 2 years, we throw more people out on the base pass. It's insane. We throw kids out on the base pass constantly because they're doing stupid stuff that they used to do when they were 8 years old. Stuff like that. And we throw them out at home. That was dumb. Why would you do that? And they, might happen twice in a game and then they stop. In baseball, it's like, okay, here's the deal. It's part of the rules. It's if he wants to round second hard to get in a rundown, don't get him in a rundown. You know what he's doing. Throw the ball home, get the out. Get the out at home. get the out at home.
Hmm.
That's your second out, your third out, your first out, whatever out it is. You can even possibly get that dude out at third right away. Make the tag go. Just that's my thing. I don't like it. I hate that. I hate that. What's your number one?
Um, I don't know that I have an order, to be honest, but that one is on my list.
Okay.
The runner at second not being allowed to ground the base
Doesn't make any
for the other
sense.
guy to score. Yeah.
I'll tell you another one that I can't stand is the fact that you can't shift. I think it's dumb. I think it's terrible. If once again, this goes to the exact same thing that I was just talking about before. If a defense is going to overshift you over here, then you need to move yourself at the plate, do what you need to do to hit the ball the other way. I saw Griffey do it, not a lot, maybe twice, where they would put a shift on him and he would bunt a ball down the third baseline because no one was at third.
Yeah.
Bunt it
You
over there.
walk to first
And
base.
you walk to first base. And it didn't happen a lot. I would say in the times I know I've seen it twice when he was with the Reds. I know I've seen it twice. Probably more times than that. But beat it. You're a professional. Beat it. If they're going to cheat you some way, beat it.
Michael Jackson.
Just beat it. If you wanna be bad.
Uh, that's also on mine.
Hmm.
That's also on mine. The illegal shift is so silly. It's so silly. There's not, I mean, you just said everything I would have said.
My whole thing about this stuff is if you're going to be upset and try to take something away because a team is cheating somewhere, and I call it cheating. It's not cheating. But it is. I'm going to cheat you over this way. I'm going to cheat you over this way, right? I'm not going to play you straight up. I'm going to cheat one way or the other. I don't mean it like a bad thing. It just is what it is. I'm going to cheat you this way. I'm going to cheat you that way. Then you have to, if you don't, you can't be upset at it. You got to beat it. That's the point of it. You like figure out how to. There's a way to do things, but to do something better, right? Like go the other way. Just so annoying.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Yeah.
I hate that.
That reminds me of for a long time in the NBA, you weren't allowed to play zone. It was illegal to play zone. And I was always like, that's dumb. Why? I understand it's because it's kind of slows the game down and you got to pass and pass again and wait for a cut. You can't have those one-on-one
Yep.
driving to the basket things all the time. So what? It's strategy. It should be allowed. There's nothing illegal.
No.
You
Yes.
should be allowed to play zone. I mean,
So what do you feel about the defensive 3 seconds? Because it's only in the NBA.
yeah, I don't think that should be the case, honestly, either. But yeah, I don't know. I think you should be able to play defense however you want. There's always going to be a chess game going on to get the advantage based on how they're playing defense, or vice versa. Based on how this team plays their offense, we're going to play a different kind of defense to try to give them problems. It's just a strategy thing. You're not like gaining an advantage unfairly.
No, there's nothing unfair about it because you can beat a zone just as well as you can beat a man-to-man defense.
Yeah.
It's just a different offense.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like about our league. Our league is all about, well, when we're good at the Catholic tournaments, we got to figure out how to play offense against a zone because they just play 2-3 all the time. No, they don't. They don't do it all the time. No, that's not how it works. But they're allowed to, is the thing. They're allowed to. So if something's not working, if I can't play, if I'm not as good as you defensively as you are offensively athletic, then why would I play man to man against you? I'm going to play zone. That gives me, I'm going to try something a little bit different. I don't have to be as fast, right? I've got help in many different places. However, I've got a lot of soft spots, a lot. So you now have to find the soft spot in the zone. You now have to beat me from other places on the court. That's what sport is, right? It's a back and forth. It's a chess game.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yep.
so frustrating. It goes with everything. That's why in the league, like we've got same exact guy who was complaining about me play too much. He thinks it's ridiculous that anybody plays anything besides man to man. Even in high school.
There are a lot of
Even in high school. Yeah, well, they're just playing zone. Oh my god, oh, playing zone.
there are a lot of coaches
So
that
beat
feel
it.
that way. I know. I'm like,
Beat it. Why are you so beat it?
yeah.
So that's that. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's one of the most annoying things in the entire world.
I agree.
When you get upset just because something isn't exactly the way you want it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We
Dude,
both had the first two.
this orange sickle soap from the
Yeah.
bathroom is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
So my next one is a tough one.
Okay.
All right. And I don't know how to call this rule because I don't know what the rule is.
Okay.
Check swing.
Mm. Yeah.
How to determine if someone offered at a pitch. There's a lot of different ideas about it. You'll hear some people say if their bat crosses the front of the plate, however, where you're standing at the plate could adjust that. If their wrists break, right? You have a lot of different things. Those are a lot more easy, but what is an offer at a pitch? What is an offer at a pitch?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of being able to say appeal down to first base. You tell me if he offered at that pitch.
I don't really understand how that.
Because the reason is they have an angle at the bat head and where the bat is. That's what it is. But there is no rule that says if the bat crosses the front of the plate,
Right.
if you break your wrist, it's nothing. It's did you offer at it? Did you offer at it?
Right.
There is zero that tells you what an offer is. So I dislike that because I feel like that could be pinpointed way, 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 way better. So I'm not a big fan of. I don't like. I don't like the appeal to second. We did it once last year. We only had one game where there was two umpires, and we appealed down the first base. The umpire called it a strike. I felt so bad for the kid at the plate. I felt terrible for him. I'm like, that was stupid. I just looked down. I think Parker was catching. I was like, Parker, just point down to first base. He points to first base. The guy goes, ah. He's been sitting there wanting to do that all day. That's all it is. You got an umpire that wants to do it all day, right? I don't know.
It's a judgment call from the home plate umpire, right? And then if he wants
The home
help,
plate umpire doesn't. I mean, to be honest, it's got to be blatant for the home plate umpire to call it a swing.
mm-hmm. But it's his call. But he can appeal, or the catcher can appeal.
Yes. Yes.
If they need help.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That is interesting. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah. That's fine. It's. I was trying to think if there's a rule, but it doesn't matter. I know what you mean.
It's a swing rule, right? It's in did he offer at the pitch rule. The rule is I don't know what the rule is, daggone it. I don't know what it is. But you can make an appeal and he can call him out over something that is very minutia. So you can call it a rule. There's a rule in there somewhere. I just don't know what the rule is, but there's a rule in there that I dislike.
Okay.
All right, let's go. I like this back and forth. What's your third?
I think we're gonna have three. I think we're gonna end up having three of the same, because another one that I have is the runner at second base starting extra innings.
I've totally forgot about that rule.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that wasn't going to be my fourth, but it is
okay.
now. Oh, it is now.
Well, then I was right. We have
That's
three,
the
three that we're gonna
You're right,
say.
because I hate that in men's league softball.
Yeah.
I get it for men's league softball because you got another game starting an hour later. I get it. You got an hour. There's an hour to play a game. You get 7 innings in an hour. That's how fast we go. I get it. It's overtime. It's extra innings. Throw a guy on second. Let's get somebody to score a run. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Even little kids, I don't like it, but we have that. I was at a tournament where they loaded the bases with one out. I was like, what? Load the bases? Yeah, load the
Oh,
bases. Yeah, extra innings. They loaded the bases and gave you one out.
oh,
You had one out and the bases were loaded.
wow.
That's
Never
how
heard of
extra
that.
innings started. I got a guy that I got a guy that does the game changer. This is how irritated I am. I just grabbed the mic. I pulled it straight out of the holder. Right? There's no mic holster anymore.
Let me see the end of that thing in the game. I mean, it's just. All right,
I
you
don't
just
even
have
know. I don't know what I did there.
a.
This thing has been beat up. I must grab this and pull on it a lot
Yeah.
because it's very chunked up over here. There's a lot of chunks.
Oh, that's fun.
Apparently that screw wasn't holding it very well. I'm gonna slowly try to put this back in as we talk. But no, I don't even know what I was saying in the moment at this point in time. Now that my microphone is only being held by my hand.
Bases loaded, one out in that tournament, and yeah, that's crazy.
That's
That's crazy.
ridiculous. It's insane. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, and it does make more sense with
Time limit
kid.
stuff, and
Yeah,
you're trying to get games in. I
yeah.
get that, but
And
in
you're
Major League Baseball,
Mhm.
no, they
No,
didn't.
sure, yeah,
He didn't do anything to earn that spot.
right.
No,
Yeah.
my game changer guy hates extra innings, hates it. So game changer is the app we use to keep score, and that's kind of what everybody uses now for scorekeeping.
Right.
He hates it. He's like, I got to take the last out and put him on second base. And then I got to give us an out,
Oh,
but the next guy up is still up. I none of like there's no way to do that electronically.
yeah.
I have to take a guy that's not up in this inning, put him on second. I have to give us an out, but still have the first guy up be up. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So anyway, I always feel bad for him. I'm just like, just do what you got to do. Who cares? Like no,
Yeah.
because but then the kids have their, they got to have their batting average and their on base percentage and all
That's the
those
thing.
stats. It's important, right? They got to know what's up. So
Yeah, and for pitchers, you got now your ERA is
yeah,
is messed up and stuff like that, and that might end up
would that
weighing
be?
into.
That's another thing. Is that an earned run?
I would think so.
But I didn't do anything to put him on the base.
I
Like if
mean,
if there's an error and a man gets on and that guy scores, that is an unearned run.
Mhm.
I did not put that man on base.
Yeah, maybe it's
That
not an
should
earned
be an
run.
unearned run if he scores.
Yeah,
A run, it still counts as a run against you. You still
yeah,
get a run against you, but it's unearned.
yeah, yeah. It
I,
must. I guess it.
mm,
I guess it would
it's
have to
got to
be.
be, right?
I, I,
Where's Bobby Nightingale when you
I
need him?
was thinking about
Come
him when I
on,
was looking at
Bobby.
these. Yeah,
Where you been, bud?
I got to get him back on here. Um. All right. I mean, we both have three, and then my last one, and this is
We have the same three. I have four.
yes. My fourth is. I hope this doesn't make you upset. um, and there are so many like parts to there are so many different like versions of this rule. There are 13 different ways to violate this rule I read. The balk. Okay. Some of the I you don't have to abolish the balk. You I think there could be some changes to some of the rules. I don't think you should have to if you're in the stretch, come set before you deliver. You should be able to. You there. It doesn't make sense. Like you're just. It's just about the base runner, like not deceiving the base runner or
The whole
something.
thing is about not deceiving the base runner. It's the
But
whole thing.
everybody's trying to deceive each other on the base paths the entire time. Why would that be?
I kind of like this. Continue.
What? Yeah. Why would that be? Why would that be a thing? Also, like you a centimeter between being on the rubber and not and throwing over and like there's all kinds of things like that why does that matter like I have to not be touching the rubber to throw to a base why
It's not 100% true.
Is that what's
I mean, if I'm a lefty and I'm thrown to first, I don't have to disengage from the rubber to throw to first base. When I'm a
okay?
right-hander, I don't have to disengage to throw to third base. And there's also rules that go into that with, oh, you ready to do this? You want to do this?
I
Because
knew.
there's also rules to go into that that have to be that go into balls that go out of play. So if I disengage with the rubber and step off, and like, let's say I'm a right-handed pitcher,
Mhm,
okay? Um, and I disengage, I step off the back, and I step over and throw to first base,
mhm.
and I miss the first baseman, and it goes out of play. He gets two bases on that. He gets third base because I disengaged from the rubber. If I am here and I don't step completely off, I do a jump turn, or if I'm left-handed and I just pick my foot up and throw to first. So it's the same. You can do the same, but it's I have to show you the move. But if you're a right-hander, it's different. It's like a quick move, right? Like you've got a slow move where you step off, turn, and throw, but a quick move is you're just jump turning.
Mhm.
So you never fully disengage from the rubber. You never land before you throw. If I throw that out of play, or if I'm left-handed and I stay on the rubber and just lift my leg up and throw over, and I throw that out of play, they only get one base
Mm.
because I've never left the play is from the rubber. As soon as I step off, I become a player and I become a fielder. I know, and this is not helping. This is not helping. I get it.
It just doesn't make
I get
sense.
it. I
Like
get it. I get it. I'm
that was
just
very helpful
saying.
because I didn't realize the
But you understand the
details of that.
disengage, right?
Hmm.
Disengage and step behind and then turn to make a throw. Whereas if I'm just turning and throwing, right? I have to explain it with a rubber and being standing on it to understand from a right-handed pitcher's perspective, throwing to first. There's two total different plays there.
Hmm.
You become a fielder as soon as you disengage and land your back foot off the mound.
Hmm.
I can do anything I want from there. If I jump turn, I have to throw the ball to first. I cannot fake that throw to first. Cannot fake it. If you fake it, it's a balk.
And that's another that's why.
Because the quick play, the quick.
See?
Now I can tell you why. I know why. I
but
know
it
why,
but
but it
it's
has to do. It's like you said. It has to do with deceiving the runner, and is that not part of the point of trying to pick somebody off? I get what you're saying. It's all about deception of the runner. And when I walk up to the mat, when I walk up to the plate and have a conversation at home plate right now at last 2 years, fourth, fifth grade, this year, sixth grade, and we have a conversation at the plate of how's the game going to be called today? The umpire will be like, all right, I'll give him a ball to the outside, I give him a ball to the inside, or half a ball to the inside, ball to the outside. Like I've got this is kind of where I'm at. Have your guys ready to swing? If it's below the knee, I'm still going to call it, right? It's if it's above the ankle, shin, whatever, we'll have a conversation, and then we have a conversation about balks. What are we doing for balks? Is the first one a warning? Is it one warning per pitcher? Are we just calling balks and going? And then what are we calling, right? Because technically, if I'm on the rubber and I go to look back at first and I move my shoulders, that's a balk if
Mhm.
I don't throw because that's a deception to the runner. As soon as I move my body, I have to throw. So if I don't, that's a deception. That's a balk. Most of the time, umpires aren't going to call that at a lower age. Some guys call every single little thing that could be a balk, and that's very difficult. It's
Mhm.
very, very difficult. We're in. I've told the story before. My Carolina Panther buddy. We'll keep names inside Greg Olson, but to have your long snapper screaming balk every time my kid comes to the set doesn't do anybody any good. In fact, it makes you look like an idiot. And to be honest, that should be penalized as a coach's interference because you can call coach's interference on a lot of stuff. That should be a coach's interference if you are warned to not say anything anymore, come to the umpire if you have a question, and you're screaming balk, which is what the umpire says when you balk. And so, all right, now we're getting back into that. I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, it's good that I was kind of trying to brush up on some of the balk rules before this, but you know them way better than I do. But just the fact, like just kind of loosely knowing them, it is enough for me to say a lot of this stuff is not necessary to be a violation. It's not, and there's more of a
It's
to
more
me.
helpful for the pitcher, to be honest, than it is. Even I know it sounds crazy because you're getting called for a balk, but no, I take that back. I'm just only thinking of one thing right now. I just in my head I went to a left-hander and where he can step to still throw to first, and then I started getting
And
my head started getting a little
well, there
out there.
it seems to me like there are some very fine lines that sometimes are allowed and sometimes are not, or it's just open to interpretation, some of that stuff. And so
It's
just like the
it's
check
not
swing,
it's not
it's going to be
interpretation. It is specified what everything is for a balk. It's not umpire's discretion. However, some of the things are very difficult to say a fine line of. Like it's a 45-degree angle I can take if I'm a left-handed pitcher. I can lift my foot up, and as long as I keep it straight and I go to throw, if I bring my foot to a 45-degree angle, I can still throw to first.
Mhm.
However, I'm making a movement home, right? Like if you're a right-handed pitcher, the second that foot starts going home, I'm gone. But as a lefty, if I go, I don't even know how to show you this, but if I come up and I go to 45, I can throw over.
Mhm.
If I come up and I go at 47, I have to go home, right? So it's a definitive point. Of that definitive point, there's no definitive line to help an umpire see it.
Right.
So, and I guess I'm telling you no, but in reality, yes, it is. It is up to discretion of the umpire of what 45-degree angle
Yeah.
is and all that stuff,
It's
right?
just
It's
a
because
human being's eyes.
there's no line.
Right.
There's no line there that tells you where they can or cannot throw.
It almost seems to me like that's the one that makes more sense for
That's the
that base
most
umpire.
deception of the, and that's for the umpire. Yeah,
Right.
that's the one that's getting. So usually that's called from an umpire behind the plate,
That's yeah.
from behind, not behind the plate, from behind the rubber. So
Yeah.
that's a second base umpire. Or if you have two umpires in the field, depending if there's nobody on, then he's looking at that. He sees that. If there's a man on first, he's got to move a little bit. He can see it a little bit, but first and second, he has to adjust his positioning on the field to be able to get to third on something that happens. So he's not seeing it as much now, right? If you don't have a field umpire, like at our age,
Mhm.
and I'm a lefty, I'm picking kids off left and right. I'm going like 70%, man. My angle is, and I'm a whipping it over there. You as a home plate umpire, you cannot physically see yes or no that was a balk.
Yeah.
There's no way you can see it. Zero chance you can see it
Yeah.
unless it's all the way forward.
Mhm.
Then I can tell. But other than that, I mean, if I just come over at all, my foot's over. This is if you're not watching, and you're not, even if you are watching, you can't see my feet, but I'm moving them all over the place here right now to understand what I'm saying with that. So
it's kind of my point anyway. It's just there's too much to it. It's too confusing, and I I have a hard time understanding when I see a guy either in the stretch come to a stop or almost come to a stop, and like it's such a minute thing where probably feels like he comes to a stop but he's going home quick, or it's I don't even know how to explain it, but or just a pitcher that like he's standing there and like his thumb moves like this and they see that and they're like that's a balk, and then you got like Nestor Cortez doing like like
yeah, Nestor
doing
Cortez, hold
backflips
on.
and
Nestor Cortez is doing that from the windup with no one on base. He does not do that from the stretch with people on. All of that goofy stuff is done from the windup. I'm telling you this as a fact because it
okay.
it already annoys me that he does it in general. that is deception of the batter. He's trying to get deception of the batter.
Right.
That's a whole nother story what he's allowed to do.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with what, and I'm gonna go, and I agree with what you're saying, is where you can get like a, not Craig Kimbrell, but other guys who can come from the stretch with a man on and set 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 and go. And they can do that 5 times, or they can do it 3 times, or they can do it 2 times.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to deceive everybody.
The point is, so from an umpire's perspective is he never pauses. He can go as long as he wants. Once he pauses, he can't go again.
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy, but if I come up and I go here, 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 that's a balk. Mm-hmm. But going here, 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 in pitching, that is not a balk. I have a kid on my team who just naturally comes up from the stretch, he hits here, and then he gets here and he's set. He does it every single time. Mm-hmm. He'll come up, he comes close, bam, boom, he's set. He does it every time. No one's ever called him for a balk until one day this umpire comes out and he's like, that's a balk, that's your warning, pitcher. And I said, well, what did he do? Well, he came set, and then he came set again. I said, he never came set. I said, he came down, and he never stops, and he comes right back. Mm-hmm. He does it every time. He's never not done it. He does it every time. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a balk today. That's what he told me. Mm-hmm. And I said, so you're telling me something that's never been a balk when I've been at places out of town with tournaments that have guys that are college umpires is not a balk, but here today with you who only does 8, 10, and 12-year-olds, it's a balk. You know, you get yourself in some trouble with some things you say, sure. but it's like you got. So I look at my pitcher, and I say, that's a balk today. I'm going to go warm somebody up because you're not going to be able to throw today. Mm-hmm. I said, give me 2 more pitches and try to just stop the first time. Even though what you're doing is not a balk. I'm telling you it's not a balk, you're fine. That irritates people too. The umpires too. When you look at your that's not a balk. What he's saying is not a balk. I need you to do the way he's saying right now. But every other time we play, you'll be fine. I'm going to go warm somebody up. Yeah. And that's what I did. I had to go warm somebody up and get him in there because that kid is flustered now. Mm-hmm. That's his movement. Yeah. It's never been called before. However, you got an umpire, right, who's like, no. He came set and came set. No, he didn't come. That's so ridiculous.
Right. There's too much to it, and like the tiniest thing that wouldn't matter to anybody is a balk in some cases, and left-handed pitchers throwing to first base. That I'm telling you, I've seen it 100 times. They can make it look like they're going home and still throw over, and that's not a balk. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it needs to be cleaned up. It just needs to be simplified, and it needs to make sense. Like, you can deceive the guy on the biggest problem, I think, is deceiving. You can't like pump fake throws home, obviously. Like, that would be a balk. That makes sense. You can't try to like trick the hitter into thinking you're throwing.
But you're not. With the point of calling the balk is that you're faking to the hitter and then turning around and throwing the runner out. That's the point. So the balk comes only when there's a runner on.
Right. But I'm saying the balk makes more sense if he's trying to deceive the batter, no matter whether people are on or not.
I disagree. The point of the balk is you have, as someone trying to steal a base, mm-hmm. they have a rule. The guy pitching has to do this. As soon as his momentum goes this way, or as soon as something happens, I can now run without him throwing at me. Mm-hmm. I'm allowed to. However, if he goes through all his motion and he gets to that point and then throws over, I'm not just taught, it's the rules. He cannot throw at me at this point. I can steal. Now he throws over. Okay, that's a balk. That's an infraction of the rule. As soon as I cross my back leg with my front foot, then I have to go home. I have to go home. I've made the cross. That is a rule. I have to go home. If I cross my back leg and I'm a runner and I start stealing and he throws over at me, I'm told, not just told, it's a rule that you can't do that. Therefore, it's a balk. So some of it, I get that you're saying it doesn't make sense why that's a rule,
Mhm.
but it is. Like that's the rule is it's in place for the runner. It's in place for the runner.
But I'm
It's
saying
not.
it shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying I should be able to turn and twist and do whatever I want and be Nestor Cortez from the stretch and be allowed to do all that goofy stuff. And then I can either pick if I'm throwing home or throw to first.
Yeah, if you're allowed to do that when nobody's on to deceive the batter, I feel like that's a way better advantage than just trying to keep a guy from running. Yeah.
I don't know that I agree with that because I don't feel like when Nestor Cortez does all that stuff, it's all timing. Nobody's moving in the
Right.
batter's box until he starts coming home. He can twist and turn and do everything he wants.
But that's
Until he's coming home, I'm not getting my foot up and down anyway.
sure, but he's but you're not timing, you're not doing anything, you're not loading or anything when he's in his motion. Like when he starts his motion, there's nothing. There's that's. I feel like there's timing there. He's doing all that to throw your timing off.
Yeah, because he wants you to start early. But if you
Sure.
start early, that's on you. Why are you starting so early?
It, because
There's
you
no
think
reason to start that early.
because you think
There's no
he's
reason to
throwing.
start until he's on his way to the plate. So if he's turned and twisted and this and that and the other, there's no reason for me to move until his body is coming home. Once his body is coming home, he has to come home. That's the only thing he can do. So the twist and turn and kick and flip and flap and floop.
Okay. I guess yeah. I guess you have to focus on his core because he can make it look like he's starting to
If his
starting motion
body's
home.
coming home, he has to come home.
Sure, sure. But I think he's trying to make you think he's
Yeah,
coming
he wants
home.
you to get into. He wants you if you especially if you've got a big leg kick.
Mhm.
He wants you to get into your kick
That's
too
what I mean.
early and get off balance.
Yeah. And I feel
So
like
if that's why that should be so you say
well,
that should be okay.
I feel like if there's going to be a balk, it makes way more sense for that to be a balk to
But the
deceive
balk
the
is all about a person on base, and he can't do any of that if there's a runner on. Any of that movement that he does, that's all from the windup. None of that is from the stretch with runners on base.
guys can do stuff in the stretch to do
What Nestor Cortez does
not necessarily him.
is a balk 1,000% from the stretch every single time.
Well, he does that from the stretch.
He does not do it from the stretch.
He isn't he the one that does the he comes
You
he comes
cannot
up
do.
and
You can
he's like doing his leg like
you
this and then he's
you can do that as long as you never stop from the windup. But if you're in the windup and as soon as you take your first step back, you can't throw to a base anyway. If I'm in the windup and there's a man on first, if I'm in the full windup and I'm a man on first, okay, and I take my step back with my left foot, the second that foot goes back, I can run. They have to go home. They've got 2 feet on the rubber. They have their motion goes backwards or forwards. They have to throw home. So the second he comes off, he has to throw home. He can't do anything else. So all the goober twisting it, sorry, right foot, whatever, left foot. Yeah, all the twisting and turning crazy stuff he does, he can only do that from the windup. And as soon as he moves, if I'm on base, which you're not throwing from the windup if I'm on base, I'm taking off immediately. If I'm in the stretch and I get into that and I pick my foot up and start moving this, if I move my foot a little bit forward and don't throw, that's a balk right there. He doesn't do it he can only do that from the windup.
okay. I feel like there's a lot of stuff I want to look up and see see
I'm just telling you.
see if
I'm just telling
see
you.
if I'm thinking
I'm
of
just telling you.
the wrong things. Um okay. And that's I was about to do that and then I just checked the time and I was like, man, now's not the time to look all this stuff up that I want to look
You
up.
don't believe me.
No, it's not that I don't believe
It's
you.
okay that you don't believe.
It's not that I don't believe you.
I'm just telling you that all that stuff is done
I'm telling you, I
from
feel like I see
the windup.
Okay, I feel like I see it otherwise, but
It's all done from
that's
the windup.
That's why I want to find videos. And if I don't find videos, then yeah, it doesn't
I'm
happen.
excited about next week.
Yeah.
Excited. This is I got very few like forte points or not like points of for like things that I feel very confident about. I'm very few in the world that I feel
Well,
very
I mean,
confident
I
about.
obviously
This
can.
is one that I feel very confident in.
Yeah, I of course concede to your knowledge of the balk rule over mine for sure,
And I
but I
still am not good at the ball rule. I'm just talking about my big thing
that's
always goes back to this Nestor Cortez stuff. It what he does in the windup compared to the stretch, two totally different things.
okay. All right. I
Totally.
Yeah. He's obviously the most interesting case, but I feel like there are tons of guys that do different things now that are like, why is that not a balk? And a guy coming set and a bug gets in his eye and he blinks his eye and that's whoa, wait a minute, whoa, you can't be deceiving these guys on the base paths. You can't be deceiving these guys. All right, that's my fourth one. You
Okay.
got to clean up the balk rule. You
Okay.
got to make it make sense to me. Um,
Make it make sense, I think is the right thing to say. It's make it make sense.
yeah,
Um,
that's my whole thing.
because there are umpires that are confused by the balk rule.
Exactly.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. I get it.
Yeah.
I get and I don't know every in and out. There's a lot of little stuff with the balk.
There's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much little details and
But the point is, I think the point of it is there's a motion that you have to use as a pitcher. If you don't do that, it's a balk.
it's supposed to be. Right?
Very true. Very true. Like the inside turn to second, right? Like you can fake to any base except first. You cannot fake to first base. Can't fake. If I'm a left-handed pitcher and my foot is on the rubber and I lift my foot up and go over to step towards first and I stop and I just fake throw, that's a balk.
That's the stupidest thing
I just
in the world.
the point is the point is if you disengage off the back, I can fake all I want. I become a fielder now. I'm not a pitcher.
What's the difference? You're throwing from the same
The
spot.
difference is from the runner's perspective.
Uh-huh.
When can I go? When can I not go?
Okay.
If he steps off the back, he can fake over. He can do whatever he wants. If he's on the rubber and he lifts up, he can sit there. He can come over this way. He can do that. I got to be prepared. I need to know. I can still run. I can still possibly run when he's got his foot on the rubber.
Mhm.
So if you step over the throw, I dive back.
Sure.
Right? But if you don't throw it, that you've never left the rubber. I have to throw a pitch in that case. Or I have to throw to first base. I have to throw the ball. If I don't leave the rubber, I have to throw the ball.
So your foot doesn't even matter. What you're
Only to first.
what you're stepping.
Only to first. You
where
can't
you're
fake the
stepping,
first. Can't fake the first.
where
You
you're
can fake to
stepping
everybody.
doesn't
You can
matter
fake to every
still.
other base. You can fake the third while you're on the rubber. You can fake the second while you're on the rubber. You can't fake the first. I don't know. I don't make the rules, Adam. I just abide by them.
I do too. I abide by the rules too. It just some of them don't make any sense.
No one would ever steal bases.
Okay. People would figure it out.
No, they wouldn't, because
Yeah.
you can do anything you wanted from the mound. But if I have rules, I gotta abide by them.
They're
Oh, but
they're,
then
they're
but
way
then
too
that's- no. But
they're way
here's the
too
deal:
convoluted.
I can say that all I want, but then I can say, well, here's the rule: you can't run past second base if there's a man on third. You're not allowed to do it. Well, why can't I do that? I get it. I get that whole thing. Like I'm saying there's rules. Well, that's a rule. So you have to abide by the rule. I'm saying there's rules as a pitcher. You got to abide by the rules or it's a balk. It's probably not fair for me to say that's not fair and then say this is fair.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I also have
Mount
been
Rushmore of worst rules in baseball.
all right. Let's make this quick because I think this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I think this is going to be easy. Big Jay Oakerson, them.
Them.
So I'll say that they, them I was really just waiting for a lot of transgender talk, or not transgender, but what is it? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's right, isn't it?
Asexual. I don't know. It's transgender just means I want to be a girl, so I'm still a she.
What?
If I say I
I'm
want to be a
confused.
girl, then I'm a she, her. I'm not a they, them. I don't think that's transgender, is it? That's
Yeah,
something different.
no, no. You can be transgender and
But then
say
you don't
I.
have a gender. What's the one that's not a gender?
Right.
Which one of the LGBTQA?
Asexual maybe,
It's
or
got to be the A,
is that
right?
right?
Yeah. Where you say you're a they, them.
Nah, trans people can say you can pick whatever you want. It's just a pro. That's just your pronoun. That's just
Oh.
you want to.
I thought if I was a guy and I was trans, um and I was making a what's it called when you make the transition, and I was transitioning,
Mhm.
that I wanted to be a girl, that I was her, she, her. But
Oh
if
no,
I, but if I, but the they, them wasn't the same as transitioning. That was, I'm actually trying to figure this out, because I thought that was a different letter in the LGBTQAI
I don't think so.
plus.
Unless I have it wrong, but I think if you transition from one to another, you can become if you decide you want to be considered a female now, and you say I want you to address me as she or her, you can do that. But you can also say I have
So then if
transitioned.
you say
You
you're
can call
they or
me.
them, that doesn't mean that I'm transitioning to a girl now. I'm just transitioning to.
Yeah. You're whatever you want to be, I think. I
Okay.
think that's the
Either way, I thought this was going to have to do with that. That was starting to get a little too serious.
I gotcha.
Uh, because I really, that is a, I don't understand. I don't know that part. I don't
I
want to say I don't understand. I just don't know it, and I don't mean it in a I'm a big old stupid person. No, it's only he or him. I mean it as in, I thought that's how it was. There was one of the letters that was, if you want to be they, them.
I'm not I'm not very confident in a lot of things. I'm really confident.
If it's a balk and you move your foot, god dag nabbit. Anyway, I thought it was gonna have to do with a lot of that.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. This was I think it was just like he's talking to they and them. That's who he's talking to. I'm talking to them. I'm talking to they. I guess it's the way I see it, because it's all crowd work, and I think you said that last week.
Yeah.
Big J is so good at crowd work. I think because he's got so much in his head, all these little things already figured out, right? He's got a joke for every gender, for every race, for every type of people that are together, for every different person looking. He's got a lot of things jolted up there. He also, I truly believe, is just one of those kind of people that are naturally funny
Mhm.
with what comes out of their mouth.
Yeah.
I wrote some stuff down and it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't even know.
He
I
is
think we're going to be close on this.
so filthy, and he is like some people. I think maybe it depends on the personality, or probably a lot on the delivery. I mean, a lot of other people would be in huge trouble if he was bigger. If he was a Dave Chappelle name, and that's how already happened actually. Like
I
if he spoke the way he spoke to people, and this was like a big Netflix thing where millions and millions of people were watching it, he'd be in so much trouble.
I
I feel like.
disagree.
Really?
I think because he's so over the top,
Hmm.
that it's more obvious. Where Dave Chappelle is telling you something, and it sounds like he's just being like, "Look, this is what it is." Whereas he's like
Yeah.
so outlandish with the crazy stuff he says, and he's giggling and laughing like, "Hey, I'm just kidding. That ain't. This is crazy." Like he even says,
Yeah.
"This is crazy. I don't even know why this stuff comes out of my mouth." Like it's just.
I know what you mean. Yeah. But
And
I
I
think
think
that's
that would be a difference. I think that's a little bit of a difference. I'm not saying 100%. I'm just saying I think he can get away with more even if he was giant, which I think he is giant.
well, yeah, he is to me, but he's not nearly on the level, not nearly as many people know who he is as like a Dave Chappelle. And I
Oh,
think that's why though. Like I think he would never be able to get that much because of the humor that he does. because he's so filthy, because of the way that
He
he
would never
talks to
get the
people.
opportunities.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, I get
Yeah.
that. He would never get the
Just not
opportunities
enough
they
people
do.
would. Yeah.
He wouldn't get the opportunity because you can only do a certain amount of what he does
Yes.
and be able to get away with it
And it be mainstream enough
and
to
be
for everybody.
mainstream.
Yeah.
However, I think Big J is known all over the place, man. I think this dude is
Yeah.
really, really big. Big Jay Oakerson, one of the dirtiest comics you'll ever hear.
Yeah.
We talk about how sometimes people get overly dirty and it's like, okay, that was a little too much. He doesn't focus on, he does kind of
It's his
sometimes,
brand.
but he also does it different. It's different.
Mhm.
If Nikki Glazer goes up there and does a dirty special, sometimes it's like, okay, it's getting a little, it's getting a little too much about what yeah, I get it. Okay, yeah, it's get, ooh, okay. Where Big J can get worse than her,
Mhm.
and somehow I'm laughing harder.
Yes. He is really just because I still listen to the bonfire all the time, and he's like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like he, off the top of his head, no matter what they're talking about, he can come up with the funniest way to say something
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time.
He's got it's fantastic. Um, he was talking about how cold it is in Denver,
Mhm.
and he was talking about, bet you guys never seen this, never seen that. The the ball sack elastic seam up the middle. I like to think of that as the way God sewed us shut,
Yeah, like a build a bear.
like a Build-A-Bear. Oh, it got me laughing right from the beginning, and I never stopped. I'm not gonna lie, I never stopped. Oh man, I don't know. Was there anything good that you had specific on this?
I only wrote down two because I knew it was just gonna be like I was just
God,
gonna end up
I
writing
could
down
have
almost
wrote the
anything.
whole thing down.
I wrote three things down, two things about things that he said. One was this lady, he didn't talk to her at all, but she just yelled out cancer nurse. And he's like, huh? And he's like, okay, I get yeah.
It's my turn.
Yeah. He's like
Do me.
yeah. He's like, okay, I guess you just want us to know in case somebody falls over from their cancer. And he's like, my cancer. And he falls
Cancer
over.
nurse, cancer nurse.
Yeah. When he said my cancer and falls over, that made me laugh so hard.
Oh my
He's
God.
like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I guess she just be like, yeah, that was his cancer, all right. Or something like that.
I liked what he said. Oh man, nothing worse than getting hit by a car in the needle arm.
Yes, that was the other thing I wrote down. Yeah, he goes, yeah, he goes, the the needles arm and the non-needles arm. He's like, I guess you had a 50-50 shot to get hit in the needles arm.
Okay, can we just say this real quick?
Yeah,
If you've made it this long in the podcast,
yeah.
okay, and you enjoy comedy of any kind, I don't even care if you don't like dirty comedy. I
Mhm.
still think you will laugh at this. Big Jay Oakerson, them, part one of they, them, which is weird that it's part one, but it's the second word.
It's them there, I
Oh,
think.
is it them,
Yeah,
they? Okay, whatever. Part one on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
right.
Oh my God. I think you're going to love it.
Yeah.
I would recommend this to every single person. I'd recommend this to my mom. I don't want to watch it with her. I want my mom and dad to watch it. I think they'll get more, it'll be more funny that way than watching it with me, but I would definitely suggest to everyone to watch this.
Hmm.
God, it's so funny. So funny. The little short, he said, what did he say? He said, her tootsies, where her little tootsies are, like he's talking about the short girl, and usually, right at the knee goes above your shoulders, and their legs are behind you. But a girl like that, little tootsies are right next to you. Just grab her little ankles. I don't know. Start feeling a little like you're in a You're a little dirty, right? I don't know. I was cracking up at that with the big, tall, 6'2" guy and the 4'9" lady.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It is hard to talk about a lot of the
It
jokes that we did on this
is. I
podcast, but
know.
the only other thing I wrote down was just
They're,
it's so different because hardly anybody sits on a stool. He sits the
yep.
entire time. He has the microphone in the stand the entire time, and
Yep.
he just tilts it to himself. And he's holding in his left hand his what because he's sitting on the stool that everybody puts their water. He's at the entire special. He holds his water bottle in his hand,
Yeah.
and I don't, I don't. I imagine you can't
It's gotta be
find that
80
anywhere.
degrees by the time he's done drinking it.
Yeah, yeah,
That is hot water.
just yeah, yeah. Anyway, 4-2.
4-3.
Hey,
4.3. This is amazing. This was good. Like I never stopped laughing.
yeah.
I don't think I ever stopped laughing. And normally Big J does a really good job of working the crowd into his joke where he's got a joke that he's going to tell. And he can say something. He's already picked out people in the room. He knows who's going to help get this joke going. And no matter what they say, no matter how they answer it, he's got a way to twist it into his joke.
Mhm.
Whether they go left or they go right, he can pull it into his next joke. This is just crowd work. That's it.
Yep.
Just crowd work.
I
There
feel
was
like his last special was that too, and maybe the one
I
before.
feel like his last special still had a few stories in it, like about his kid and other like there was some stories and still involved
Yeah.
in it.
The only complaint I had was not even really a complaint. It just like maybe the last 5 minutes or so,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is kind of
Even
over.
he did. There were some times where he was like he didn't even say anything for a while.
Yeah.
Like it was just quiet and he kind of giggled a little bit and he didn't really have anything else left because he was talking to the same
Exactly.
four people
Exactly.
the whole time.
Yes.
He it that could have been that could have been a 40-minute special and been a 4.6.
Yeah, I was thinking about that exact thing. I was like, it really, because the video was 58 minutes long. It stopped at like 52 or 53, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And then, or no, maybe 54. And then it like started rolling credits, and then it went back to one more scene.
One more
But
little scene with the Peru, not Peru. What was she? Are you
yeah, I
exotic?
forgot.
Not really. No. Oh, you're just white? No, I'm from Somalia. Oh, that's exotic.
Yeah. But anyway, so say it's 54 minutes. If it was 45,
Yeah,
that would have been
it would have.
that would have been
It
perfect.
would have. It definitely would have.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
Okay. How do you want to do this? Do you want I'll take one or the other if we want to get back to switching.
Um, it doesn't matter. We can figure this out here. Let's see. I had one on here. There's a couple Netflix ones that are out right now that are pretty good. So I can do both. I can do both.
Doesn't matter to me.
Unless you have one written down.
I don't, but I can get one. Either one.
I say we do let's see. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do Andrew
Mhm.
Scholl's life. Pretty funny guy. Should be good. Um
Netflix.
Netflix. Is it Schultz or Scholes?
Schultz.
It is Schultz. There's no T, but okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
Andrew Schultz on Netflix. Felipe Esperanza has a new one on, huh?
Mhm.
I bet that's gonna be good too. Hopefully this one's just English. I don't have to watch like a dual Spanish
Yeah,
English one.
no, I think it's just English.
Wasn't that how his last one was?
Andrew Schultz?
No,
Oh,
Felipe
Felipe Esparza.
Esperanza. Yeah,
Um,
I could be wrong.
oh,
Maybe it was a different guy
maybe
that was like that.
I can't remember.
Anyway, doesn't matter. Um, all right, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, and then for a Mount Rushmore,
Mhm.
whew, we're gonna do the Mount Rushmore of units of measure.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done that, right?
I was trying to think. I was trying to see if anything jogged my memory.
There's
Let's
no
see.
way we've done units of measure.
Units of measure.
No way. Liters, inches,
Yeah.
feet, millimeters,
Quartz.
quarts, ounces.
Sure.
I mean, there's quite a few good ones out there, bud. Quite a few kilometers.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. How many 5Ks have you run in your day?
Not as many as you.
Not as many as me is right. That's such an unfortunate statement.
Units of I like that was quick. I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
Popped
good.
out. Popped out. There's a
Nice.
tangled up. There's a tangled up
Oh,
measuring
yeah.
tape over here. Just kind of threw it out there. I mean,
I like
just spoke to me.
I like millimeters, centimeters, inches, and feet. Those are my four.
There you go. All right, units of measure. This is gonna be dumb, is what this is gonna be. This is just gonna be
I don't
four
know.
things where we're just like ounces. Okay. Gallons.
I think there are some hidden ones that we
You
don't
think
think
so?
about. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Micrometers.
Oh, micrometers, huh?
Micro machines. You don't remember micro machines?
I do.
Okay. Oh, it's just a micrometer. It just made me think of micro machines.
Oh, okay.
The guy always look like Mean Gene Okerlund a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Micro machines. All right, there you go. Units of measure and what's his name?
Andrew Schultz.
Andrew Schultz Life on Netflix. Until next week, don't forget to turn your headlights on. Don't get tangled up in your microphone either.